戦争は変わった。一つの時代が終わり、俺たちの戦争は終わった。
War has changed. It's no longer about nations, ideologies, or ethnicity. It's an endless series of proxy battles fought by mercenaries and machines. War and its consumption of life has become a well-oiled machine. War has changed. Verified soldiers carry algorithmic arms, manipulate social influence, AI enhance and regulate their timelines. Memetic control, information control, emotion control, battlefield control. Everything is monitored and kept under control. War has changed. The age of deterrence has become the age of control, all in the name of averting catastrophe from weapons of mass destruction. And he who controls the battlefield controls history. War has changed. And when the battlefield is under total control, war becomes routine.
Think outside the cage.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is July 27th, 2026, and we are live to tape on episode 961. And today, Raving Ritual. And signing on from off the grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil. And I'm not a podcast, I'm a lifestyle brand. If you're not crazy.
And my name is Gonz, at Face Like the Sun, director of the Age of Deceit films and author of Prophecy Without Panic, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from the metaverse to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. It's Monday.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
July 27th. It's many things today. It's the Bagpipe Appreciation Day. It's National Chicken Finger Day. National Creme Brulee Day. Ooh, fancy. National Korean War Veterans Armistice Day. But I think most interestingly, it is
Creme
the cross
Brulee and Korean War Veterans Day are on the same day.
and Chicken Finger Day and Bagpipe. Yeah, it's all
That's
just one.
amazing.
We're in the New World Order, you know.
Yeah.
But more importantly, or maybe more interestingly, Cross Atlantic Communication Day.
What is that? The
Cross
anniversary of like the first telephone call or something across the
Yeah, like the telegraph,
Mhm.
communicating messages across the Atlantic, and you know, it was the beginning of the internet connection. You know, if you do like a time lapse of, I don't know, like messaging across the world or something, starting with the telegraph. It started today, Basil, and look at us
Crazy.
now. Look at us now
Portals,
on the internet.
man. Portals, man. Portals.
Portals.
Whoa.
Yeah, portals. So there you
Speaking
go.
of portals, I am back. I've lived my life on the rails, like some old timey Americana. Took a couple train rides, loved it. I'm refreshed. I'm a new man. I will say this: once you switch over to train travel, it kind of messes with your perception of time altogether. Like you're just on a totally different, I don't even know, calendar, maybe.
What's the max speed on a train? The one you're
Well,
on?
you know, I don't even know what the max speed is, but I just spent a total of 45 hours on a train for this trip, you know, cut it in half there and back. It's my first overnighter. Very fun, very cool. But man, does it gives you, it's weird, dude. I don't know how to explain it, but people who have been on overnight train rides, that they know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna have to work through this experience, this almost supernatural experience over the next couple of
The
weeks.
overnight, yeah, the overnight thing is interesting, and also there's an overlap with the Korean War Day today, July 27th, 1953. On the final day of the Korean War hostilities, U.S. Navy aircraft destroyed or damaged 23 railroad cars, 11 railroad bridges, and a railroad tunnel. So look at that.
So much railroad, so much railroad damage. We really do need to. This is a solemn day. Yeah,
it is.
Shoot. I mean, I could go on. I could go on about trains for a while. I won't, though. It'll trickle out. It'll trickle out. But I'm telling you, as I said at the beginning of this year, trains are becoming the most important thing in the country, not just for transport, but as a symbol, as a moving, roaring steel horse symbol of not just American progress and industry, but like the railroad holds the entire West on its shoulders, not the Western United States, Western
all
culture,
Western civilization.
Odysseus to Trump, all rests on the mighty shoulders of American rail.
Rails of Re-enchantment. That's what should have been the name of the episode.
That should have been it. Let's save that for next time. I'll write that down. Very good. Rails. That'll be my memoir, basically.
Rails of Re-enchantment. Memoir by Basil Rosewater.
Yeah, it'll be like a compendium, a partner book, a supplement book to Carl Teichribb's work.
There you go.
Okay, wonderful.
Best read on a train.
I'm happy. Yes, you have to read it on a train. It'll be like those old, like Freemason grimoires. I don't know if anybody's, if when you read like actual old Freemason books, it's written almost in like a gibberish. Like it's really hard to understand. And they'll tell you right at the beginning of this book, like, goo goo gaga, if you think this is hard to read, then this book isn't for you. This is how we hide our secrets or whatever. Bleep blop bloop. And that'll be what it's like. You try to read Rails of Re-enchantment when you're not on a train, it'll just look like gibberish to you.
Yeah. All right, well, let's jump right into some stuff here. Should we start with sewer surveillance?
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll control them with toileting.
Were there toilets on the train?
Yes, indeed. They have. It's kind of like an airplane toilet. Very powerful, very strong, very loud. Okay, now just a quick little check-in with sewer surveillance. Of course, nowadays everybody knows that we're checking in on our municipal wastewater to catch criminals and look for diseases, et cetera. But of course, one of our favorite, most obscure topics of research for many years now, thanks to COVID. And the whole point was, of course, during COVID, this is universally true during COVID, but everything that was done then was justified and piloted in a way to make it as acceptable to the normal American as possible. Of course, everyone around the world had their own version of this, but sewer surveillance is continuing and is as big of a deal as we've always said it would be. Keep that in mind when I start ranting and raving about trains. But okay, we had a producer, thank you, producer, anonymous producer, connect us with an administrative memo. And this administrative memo was to a school district. And it says wastewater sampling. In December 2025, the Department of Public Safety, DPS, provided local education agencies, LEAs, with an opportunity to participate in a voluntary program that used wastewater samples to identify the presence of illicit drugs. Of course, voluntary It was an opportunity to voluntarily let us look at your wastewater and see what's going on in there, because we've got to find illicit drugs. It says more than 40 LEAs participated in the program last year, and the extent and nature of dangerous, deadly drugs detected was alarming. Sound the alarm, Gons. Sound the alarm.
I
On
don't
June
have the alarm
30th,
jingle ready to go, but I got this one.
that's right. On June 30th, 2026, Governor Mike Kehoe signed into law 2 pieces of legislation that will impact LEAs starting in the 2026-2027 school year. The new laws require LEAs. So, LEAs being local education agencies, so like school districts, right? So they had their fun little opportunity voluntary program. Yeah, come test the water for the school districts. We'll see what's in there. Oh my gosh, there's dangerous and deadly drugs, and it's alarming us. And now we are alarming you. And so the new laws require school districts selected by DPS to participate in the state's efforts to monitor and identify dangerous drugs in schools, including fentanyl and nitazines. I don't know what nitazines are. Do you know what nitazines are?
No, but I'm looking it up here. I'm pulling up the thing.
It's taking me to
synthetic opioids, 4,300 times stronger than morphine.
Oh, yeah. So I guess fentanyl. So including fentanyl and fentanyl. Ooh, I mean, those are scary things. You know,
Yeah.
you say, of course, if you're going to force public schools into a sewer surveillance program, it requires you to justify it with fentanyl and fentanyl. It does beg the question, if they found so much fentanyl in these school toilets, like what do you mean? I mean, I don't get it. I guess maybe one of my questions that is not answered here is, what schools are being tested here? Is this elementary schools? I'm imagining it being elementary schools, but I guess, of course, high school, these high schoolers and their experimentations, that could be very dangerous. DPS will randomize the selection process across 9 Missouri State Highway Patrol groups to maximize geographic representation. If your LEA is selected, it must participate in the wastewater sampling process. We ask you to cooperate with the testers. We will continue to partner with DPS, the Department of Health, Senior Services, and MSHP to ensure school leaders receive the most current information about wastewater testing process. The overarching goal, okay, here we go. The overarching goal of this program is to increase safety. Of course, think of the children. And awareness. We must be aware of the drugs in the sewers, in the communities we serve, and we thank you in advance for your assistance. And then it gives some information to reach out if you have questions.
I got questions.
You got questions? What's your question?
I do. Yeah. Can this incriminate somebody if they can identify the individual who may have consumed an illegal substance?
So that's the question, right? Okay, we get it. Now, there's this classic American political instinct that the left and the right and everybody loves to, activate in people, which is, oh no, the child is crying. Quick, burn the Constitution. Quick.
Right. Yeah.
And so, of course, this pilot program was, hey, we'll surveil the sewers coming out of the schools, and we'll see if there's any dangerous drugs. And oh my gosh, we are alarmed. There's all the worst possible drugs coming out of the schools. But then it's like, now what? What does that mean? What do you do with that information, I suppose? Are we surprised that there's teenagers doing drugs in high schools? It's just sort of like building this foundation of Panopticon, specifically because it lacks specifics, right? Sure, people, there are drugs in the sewage underneath some schools, apparently, or who even knows if this is when it comes to sewer surveillance, they they like to brag like, oh, we can dial in down to the neighborhood to see who has COVID,
Oh,
so we can lock them away and throw them in jail.
That's just going to become more and more sophisticated, and they'll be able to target exactly who, each particle of waste is coming from, what bodies.
Kind of the point is, the language used here, and because it is in the context of school districts, it's all about, hey, let us surveil the sewers of our schools, okay? Because if there's fentanyl, we want to know about it. And so we can stop the kids from doing drugs. Is this going to stop kids from doing drugs? Is this going to... No, it's all this sort of bureaucratic, administrative chaff, almost chaff or kindling, or the rhetorical foundations on which to build the Panopticon, which of course, I mean, we all get it now, that everything we do on the internet, every public space we go in, everything we do, almost even everything we think, is being surveilled for the good of the community. Surely nothing bad will come of that. But now even your waste is unsafe. We talked about this. I think it was the last episode I was on, but we've gone through the legal piece of this, because the question is, well, how is that legal that you can sift through my wastewater and see what's coming out of my body? And the legal, I guess, principles that have been applied are similar to donating blood or getting your appendix removed, which is in most states, once your biological stuff leaves your body, whether it's an appendix or a tooth or blood, it is no longer yours. You have no right to it. It becomes like this public place.
So I've been going down the rabbit hole with some of that, and I recall this paper that I have on the screen here for those of you watching, The Future of Wastewater Monitoring for Public Health. And we need to figure out a way to get a hold of Jeffrey and Natalie Ram. I think I called for them like years ago, but maybe we can interview them, because they're actually they've written on this topic, and it's difficult. It's obviously state by state, and depends on where you are, depends on what's extracted from whatever biology is left behind. So it's like if you leave your saliva on a cup and you throw that cup in a trash can, somebody wants to retrieve that and draw on the saliva to take your DNA. I mean, you discarded it. Technically, it's publicly available DNA. And so there's all these different legalities, and it is messy. But it just goes to show how modern technology and the nature of technology and the surveillance apparatus is such that nothing, including your waste, is out of bounds for some kind of extraction of information that may implicate you for one reason or another.
And
so
in the psyop of it, right? You might be thinking like, okay, I don't, I'll say this, our people, you guys get it. Okay.
Yeah.
But someone, a normie, might go, well, I don't care if they test my neighborhood's sewer. How are they going to tell it's me? I don't know. I want to know if there's COVID or fentanyl use. That's no problem. Sure, I'll just go, because it's just like another thing, right? We're being bombarded with, they're spying on you through your phone, through your clicks, through your money, through your whatever, right? It's just, nothing's private anymore. And so, the sewer surveillance, as it has always been since we first identified it, it's like kind of a joke. Like, it's kind of boring. Like, I'm just dealing with so much other stuff. Why would I even care about this? Or what would I even do if I did care? And it's, it is funny. Like you say, you brought up the book that you brought. It's a bunch of lawyers talking about the legal framework for their right to surveil the wastewater. And there's a lot of good questions in the chat. I mean, these are exactly the question. How does sewer-proof teen and not adult staff? Right. You find something in the water. How do you even know it's from whatever, a student or not? Well, it doesn't matter because it's not actually about that. It's about convincing everybody that, oh, yes, we must continue sewer surveillance because think of the children. Oh, it was so alarming. You wouldn't believe what we found. And you can see even in the announcement, they're like, okay, we need a why. People are going to be asking.
Yeah, people are going to be asking about, yeah.
Well, the goal is to increase safety and awareness. Okay, we need more safety. We need more awareness.
That's like its own spell. That's like its own magical spell to just say those words, and then you're just allowed to do whatever. It's like, oh, hey, it's for the safety of the public. Peace and safety, they will say, before sudden destruction.
It's crazy. Typical. And so this particular notice went out in Missouri, which we are constantly, we got a bunch of great Canarians in Missouri. We love our Missourian Canaries. I love Missouri. I love Silver Dollar City. Come on, baby, let's go. But it is such an interesting battleground over there in Missouri because, of course, we've got the Missouri Freedom Initiative. We got Patrick Holland, so many people doing great work to just simply try to preserve the basic freedoms that Americans are supposed to be guaranteed. And then there's like this crazy, I don't even know, just deep, like Missouri deep state, where they are also the ones accelerating the most insane panopticon technocratic surveillance state legislation in the entire country. It's really crazy. We all got to keep Missouri in our prayers. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. All right. I got the email going to Mrs. Natalie Ram. From the University of Maryland. So I will reach out to her and maybe we can get an interview, even if it's like a short 15-minute or something.
Yeah.
Or we can maybe get a touch base on where we're at with it, what kind of legal ramifications there are. It looks like her husband is part of the School of Medicine. So I think maybe that's why they're partnering up with, law and medicine. They actually wrote a paper, or maybe it was just Natalie, wrote a paper back in 2020 pointing out the legal and ethical implications of wastewater SARS-CoV-2 monitoring for COVID-19 surveillance. So they've been on this. They've been looking at this for a while, just as long as, probably longer than we have in terms of specifics. And of course, nobody really cared until 2020. So
they put in the work on the law school. Well, and again, it's one of these things where of course, we're used to this now, folks. I understand, but the conspiracy theorists were always right. It does remind me of some of the kind of funny, I'm sure it's true, but it's like propaganda that our leaders here in the United States or whoever applies to world leaders we don't like Kim Jong-un or Putin. They say, oh, these guys are losing their minds. They're so crazy. They never use a public toilet. They bring a little suitcase. They'll have there's the guy on their right that has like the nuclear codes. And then there's the guy on their left that holds the suitcase that turns into a toilet. And they, capture all of the leaders' waste because of just how real and present of a danger sewer surveillance actually is. And, the propaganda of it has always been like, oh, they're so crazy. They're so loopy. Aren't we more, scientific and reasonable here in America? No, we are not. The reasonable thing to do is to bring doggy bags wherever you go and hold on to all of your waste. Just like,
think about,
just like all of those hoarders you saw on, that hoarding show where they would like keep 15 years worth of their urine and waste in like Ziploc bags in their garage. There's something to it, man.
I definitely do think there's something to it. And I'm sure there are boardrooms right now where, if you recall, where we got this ISO.
Toilets!
This came from the story from a few years ago. Ex-Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer can't stop talking about the bathrooms at his new $2 billion sports stadium. Think about the analysis that can be done by measuring the amount of alcohol or drugs that's in the system of any given event, right? Like you can say, oh, you can compare it to the amount that they sold, to the amount that's being, flushed down the toilets there. And hey, we really need to up our game on the beer sales. We're not, our people are not excreting enough alcohol in their urine. It's a great point of data. It's valuable data.
Oil. It's just more. It's even just on like the mammon worshipping economic side of it. Sewer surveillance is a natural resource, right?
Yeah,
it's gonna feed all the AI data centers. It's part of the control system. I mean, it's very much as much of an important natural resource of data as your spending habits or whatever.
It'll be an argument against humans at workplaces. It's like, well, the robots don't use toilets. Like there's one less thing you got to worry about.
That is a really good point. Yeah, when it comes to like warehouse workers and stuff, they're gonna build warehouses that don't even have plumbing or toilets or anything because just robots work there.
How many? Somebody's going to do a study. Red book this. Somebody's going to do a study on how much time is wasted for people clocking into work.
I'm sure
in the restroom, in the bathroom. How much of bathroom? There are people probably who take extra long little bathroom breaks just to get away from whatever they got to do.
Famously, Amazon gives you like 30 seconds or something to use the bathroom.
That's right.
Bathroom break, some crazy number like that.
Oh man. All right. Well, there you go. We're all over it. We're all over the sewer surveillance. Don't mess with the Canarium. We've been tracking
We're on to you.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. What are we doing next? Speaking of surveillance, my goodness. I mean, this is just right up our alley here. Speaking of the beast system. From wastewater to the draft, it all has to do with data here.
It's all connected, baby.
It's all connected, man. It's all connected.
Roll your eyes at our sewer surveillance.
I know. This is coming from militarytimes.com. Selective Service System wants to wargame the draft. Okay, so there was a lot of hubbub over the last 6 months about people who, at least when they turn 18, that they're automatically signed up for the draft. And, I think we broke it down a little bit. And if we look at the legalities, like you're technically, when you turn 18, you're supposed to sign up for the draft if you're male or whatever.
That's how they keep it voluntary. It's that bureaucratic lie of voluntariness.
Right. It's voluntary. But then if you don't, I guess they threatened you with fines and stuff, right? Like if you don't sign up, then you get fined.
They didn't threaten me, but they do. That's the thing. I mean, it's the illusion of voluntariness. I don't know what other word to use.
Voluntarism.
Voluntarism, right. It's the draft is technically voluntary, so it's not dystopian and tyrannical. Even income taxes are technically voluntary, but don't try it, okay?
But if you don't pay, you can go to jail. Perfectly voluntary.
It's a beautiful illusion that is at the heart of the battle between the American spirit and the technocratic beast system.
Yeah, and so what the new was it a legislation? Was it a bill? I can't remember, but it basically passed that once people turn 18, they will automatically be put into the draft system, and people freaked out. It was like, even though it was technically voluntarily not voluntary prior to such things. But now that we've gotten that out of the way, now we're moving on to the actual game here. It says in the article, fearing that its new plans for the U.S. military draft pool won't work, the Selective Service System, SSS, wants to create a computer simulation to test scenarios for its national mobilization. Sentient World Simulation? Anyone?
Yeah.
Anyone?
Gotta get the AI on it. I mean, you love it too. You can even hear the fear. The government fear, the fear of the tyrant is right in the reporting of like, okay, we've done it. We can we can automatically sign up all these young boys to go to war and fight for us so we can make a bunch of money. But there's always that
tonight,
problem of
Stoke.
the torches and the pitchforks. That's their biggest fear is the torches, the pitchforks, the guillotines, stuff like that. So instead, let's just run it through AI. See what ChatGPT says. See how we can do it.
The quote readiness simulation project comes as the U.S. government is about to change its draft registration system. Since 1940, men within a designated age range have been required to register with the Selective Service, But under a proposed rule, men aged 18 to 26 will be automatically registered starting December 19th, 2026. The Selective Service system will work off data contained in other federal databases. Questions remain about how prepared the Selective Service system is to handle the change. Quote, SSS currently relies on manual analysis, legacy modeling approaches, outdated assumptions. That's a big one, outdated assumptions, and historical data sets that do not fully reflect modern demographics, communications channels, throughput constraints, or operational readiness conditions, warned the agency in a request for quote for the readiness simulation tool. The deadline for vendors to propose their simulation model is August 14th. So we got a couple weeks
We
for
could
this.
send in a proposal. Maybe
Yeah, we
this
should.
This is our exit strategy.
Look,
we got ChatGPT. You give us whatever data you have there, government. I will ask for you. ChatGPT will tell me.
Yeah, you should run a poll, and how much is your, what was your reference or a pool of, people doing their voting? It's like, well, we got Canarians, maybe like, 100 Canarians?
Very important.
The computer simulation will explore multiple areas. These include evaluating staffing and resource requirements, comparing mobilization and police scenarios. That's a very nice way of putting things. Mobilization and police scenarios. What could they be talking about?
And police scenarios right next to each other on this list of things that will need to be simulated. What are they saying? They're saying, the mobilization, when people don't respond and show up at their draft center after being automatically drafted to die in a war by artificial intelligence, we're gonna need some police scenarios to come and fix that little issue there. It's hard to see. You can't see it if you're just listening, but if you're watching, it's also really hard to see. If you look really, 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 really closely, there's a bunch of text right in between the lines, right? If you read in between the lines, you can see just how terrifying this is and just how terrified they are of the American people.
It's so interesting how it's kind of like a staring contest right now. You got the government workers, the employees, they're all kind of like, all right, we're going to do this. And then you got like the American public, the youth, they're looking like, okay, you guys are really going to do this. They're looking at each other like we're about to go to war. All right. So they're comparing mobilization and police scenarios and assessing the operational impact of surge conditions. What is a surge condition? Is that like, okay.
So when they need all of us. Everyone needs to go at once. This is where the trains come in, Guns, because the question is, how many buses do we need in a surge condition to get every single man in the country to go to war? That's where, oh boy, load up the trains, ride the rails.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. So in general, a surge condition is when there's a sudden change or a big spike in like a change in behavior, like a change from the norm, right? So if people are normally not used to being hauled off to the military, there might be a surge condition where either that happens or the rebellion against it will happen. So in addition, the system
real quick, a comment from earlier in the show from Voice of Reason says, no draft. I can't wait to found a new underground railroad moving anti-war Americans safely to Canada or Mexico. No one should ever be forced into military service for any reason. When I first read this comment, I thought they were literally talking about a railroad. I just got trains on the brain. Okay, thank you, voice.
Yeah, nice comment there. Good idea, by the way. We're gonna need Elon Musk's boring company to make some of those tunnels, which I guess he's already got it all figured
Oh,
out.
the tunnels are already there. Don't
That's
worry.
what I'm saying. It's like, hey, we're gonna escape the system. Let's go into the tunnels, and then Elon's down there too. So it's like, all right, well, they've already covered their bases. In addition, the system will quote identify throughput risks, delays, and bottlenecks, and support executive planning and reporting obligations. All right. The goal is a simulation system that, quote, models the full end-to-end SSS mobilization pipeline, supports configurable scenarios, and provides decision support analytics necessary for leadership, planners, and operators. So, I mean, they're just like, they just want to know what types of systems they need ready when the people rebel against this entire operation.
Operators is a
my
scary
goodness.
term there too, because of course, if the Democrats had their way, they would abolish ICE, and the right side of the spectrum is saying, "Oh, that's just silly. You're never going to abolish ICE," and the left goes, "Okay, we can keep ICE. Let's just use it to chase down draft dodgers."
Yeah, also, this might have some level of connection to Jade Helm. Jade Helm sort of maybe laying down the early bricks for something like this.
Well, and that was every time the topic, Jade Helm being a good example of it, specifically where they said, but Lindsey Graham said it, everybody said it over the years, is the next big war, the training we actually need to do is not desert training, it's not jungle training, it's urban training.
Yeah, I remember that. Wasn't that
operators are going to have to be experts at urban operation.
Warfare? Yeah, urban warfare. Yeah, that was I forget, it was Colonel somebody at one of the graduation ceremonies a couple years ago.
Yes,
at West Point or something, right? Yeah. Okay, so scenarios will encompass draft registration, selection, notification, delivery, and classification. They will also cover the alternative service program, which includes various forms of community service, as well as contentious objectors.
Conscientious. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Conscientious objectors.
This part was funny. This was the first I had heard of this part of it. But it looks like they're going to be running in the simulation scenario, and they already have plans for if you're a conscientious objector, meaning you don't believe in war, don't believe you.
Yeah, it's like the religious folks who rejected the jab, for work.
Yeah,
stuff like that,
Muhammad Ali was famously a conscientious objector.
But they're like, oh, don't worry, you can do community service.
Yeah, right. Community service in jail?
Is that two different things? It says they will also cover alternative service program, which includes various forms of community service, as well as conscientious objectors. I mean, community service in this case is like, you're going to go work in the factory, probably. Right. You're going to go build drones.
I guess we're going to war, Basil, no matter what. Computer models will, quote, represent MEPS, M-E-P-S, military entrance processing stations.
FEMA camps.
Yeah, FEMA camps. Yeah. They just rebranded FEMA to MEPS. Yeah. Actually, I think MEPS is a pretty typical military term. Throughputs, no-shows, medical disqualification rates, claims processing, and ASP diversion, according to request for quote. Contractors must be prepared to run the readiness simulation while, quote, recognizing that legacy SSS draft data may be outdated or unreliable, the agency said. Okay, so they're going to run this simulation on data that's too old? Is that what they're doing? They want more data.
I think the secret messages, okay? They're saying contractors, meaning if you're going to put in a bid to run this simulation, must be prepared to run readiness simulation while, quote, recognizing that legacy SSS draft data may be outdated or unreliable, meaning all of the men in the country for many, many years now. And look, if you think you've aged out, think again, because they've either changed it or they are changing it. It used to be 35 was the cutoff. Now 42 is the cutoff. So
yeah, they changed it back. It's been back and forth.
Have they?
Or yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
It
don't
used
know.
to
I
be
just
like
saw
higher, and
something
then they made it lower, and then they made it higher. Yeah, so let me
recently.
double check on that.
Again, between the lines, if you really squint, what they're saying is, hey, all the data we have is from old out, paper manual, all the stuff that Doge was trying to change. Doge
Mhm.
would have loved to get in on this game here, but all of our draft cards are like sitting in a box down in a mine somewhere.
Right.
But this is sort of an invitation to those who are going to be running the simulation or putting in a bid for this to say, hey, we're going to need to find other sources of data to accurately run the simulation. Basically meaning like, yeah, hey, Palantir, can you give us all the data on every single man under 42 in the country? It's for national security.
Yeah. It says here a draft registration system based on data compiled by and accessed from other federal agencies is likely to raise privacy concerns. Okay, yeah, I'm sure they didn't have access to that data already. The computer simulation, quote, shall operate within an SSS designated cloud environment, use anonymized aggregate data, and support complete government ownership and sustainment, the agency said. The simulation must also comply with multiple privacy regulations.
Well,
that's how it ends. The article.
Irony. I mean, just the cosmic irony of this is amazing.
Yeah.
Don't worry. You gotta stay in the rules. You gotta care about people's privacy as we absolutely eviscerate any concept of privacy in the modern world.
Yeah. My initial reaction to this was that, there's enough data on all of us now, despite these sort of nice euphemistic words about like, hey, we're going to respect privacy regulations. There's enough data out there to actually run a simulation for a public draft. And despite the fact that we're already in the era of, the rise of super soldiers and weaponized robots. Like, what happened to the robot army, man? Or are they like, hey, we need some stock for our super soldiers,
Yeah, that's a good point. They're keeping us in kind of a weird tension between we don't need humans anymore for warfare. Isn't that great? And also, but
you need to an entire generation. We need like 3 generations of American males to step in and fight a war. Yeah, I just don't understand what the thing is there, because I thought or are they gonna just create a whole bunch of robot operators, or are we going into like the mech era? They need soldiers to operate the mechs. Yeah, the robot jocks, and then and then we got more of like a robot war situation. So it's not going to be as simple as like, hey, you're going to be on the front lines. It's not Saving Private Ryan anymore. It's it's robot jocks.
This is where they do need to bring us in as consultants, Gons, because if you said, no, we don't need human soldiers to fight on a battlefield, but we do need some young kids who are good at video games to fly our giant Gundam-style RoboJocks battle droids, you wouldn't even need to have a draft. You would have so many people signing up.
Oh, I mean, you'd probably, you can pull off an Ender's Game too if you really want to be nefarious. See, like, come to this game convention, everybody. We're shooting down Chinese drones like in the simulation game. Let's see how good you are. And then after the fact, you win a Purple Heart or medal or something.
It's concerning when history and culture and the government gets to the point where what used to be considered a dystopian sci-fi novel like Ender's Game actually seems like the better scenario.
Than a draft, right? Yeah, it's like, what would you rather do? A public draft? And maybe that's the play. Maybe that is sort of the reverse psychology play here, where they're really rolling this stuff out. Hey, let's roll out the simulation, let's scare everybody, and then they'll accept a more whatever, something like that, where it's like, let's just get the video gamers in there to shoot down, I don't know, Afghans or something, whatever it is.
We've already accepted 1984. We've already accepted Brave New World. Now we just got to accept Ender's Game. We've already accepted Atlas Shrugged. I mean, we're running out of books. I mean, in the end, they just want us, you know, what we need is to accept the book of Revelation. That's the last one.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, it's tough when you need Jesus to return to fulfill some of that. It's a tough go. Which, by the way, just as a side note, as we're kind of wrapping the story, on Patreon and on YouTube, I did publish week 7's Bible study. I just made it public for everybody because it's a review of weeks 1 through 6. And yeah, I don't know. I guess it's funny because I've been working on this Bible study to go along with the book, Prophecy Without Panic, and I'm trying to just be really true to the biblical method of how prophecy is interpreted in Scripture and sort of apply that to post-canon events and people and stuff like that. Right. And in the process, without even realizing it, I'm like, I'm tearing down a lot of sacred cows and stepping in hornets' nests and stuff like that. I'm not trying to, but it just so happens that when you start kind of looking at the Scriptures as a model for how we should process end times prophecy, a lot of the things that we thought were sort of, I don't know, like irrefutable prophecy things start to kind of crumble a little bit. He was right. No, he's totally right. Yeah.
When you actually start reading your Bible, you're going to start stepping on toes.
Yeah, that's true. So anyway, just a side note there for anybody who's interested in some of that stuff. But
lovely.
All right.
You know, I got a text message from the CanaryCry text message alert system. Get on it, folks. If you're not on it, get on it. Take out your phone, text the word canary, just the word canary, to 877-740-3226. Again, that's 877-740-3226. And you'll start getting a text from me just a few times a week. Whenever we're going live, I'll say, hey, here we go. Come on, jump in the pool. The water's fine. And then you can decide whether you want to catch the show live or not. And you don't need to let YouTube decide that for you, because that's about what they do. I think the last number I saw was, I think they were up to 4%. The last time I checked, I think they said, we will send a notification to 4% of your followers for you. So there you go. Thanks for being here, that 4%. But no need for that. Get connected directly. It's much more important. Text the word canary to 877-740-3226. And the fun part is you can text that number back. And people love texting that number. I love reading the texts from those people. So thank you, everybody who sent all sorts of nice messages over the last week. People send in stories. People send in research that they're doing. Various videos, things like that. That's kind of the best way to do it. If you want us to really put eyes on something, I'll see it. Let's see here. We got a text message from, who is this? What am I doing? Oh yeah. Oh no, it logged me out. Dang it. Stop it. This dang text message system logged me out right when I want to be in there.
Yeah,
I want to give the credit to somebody. While I do this, 604 texted and says, for episode 1000, it would be cool if you guys traveled the universe and bring on many guests and bring back Canary Cry Radio Resurrected. It's pretty hit or miss when and if you guys publish an episode of CCR, maybe a hybrid of the two shows, bring guests and talk to. So yeah, like CCR episode 100, which should have been a world record breaking podcast episode, but we did send it in to the Guinness Book of World.
We did.
Isn't that kind of crazy to think about, Gons? There was a time when you and I even had the energy, even had the motivation, even had the wherewithal. We actually put together the data, a package, a letter, everything for our 100th episode of CCR to tell the Guinness Book of World Records that we had the longest, at the time, the longest podcast episode and the one with the most guests. And we did our own research. We did break the world record for length and most guests. And I wonder, if we could
I think
find,
I'm trying to find the
email, or was
email.
it a
I think
letter?
they did email us and tell us that they were
Yeah,
not or something.
they said no, there's no way for us to tell if that's even true. So no, we're not going to do
I
that.
mean, there was a way to tell if it's true.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Just run it through ChatGPT. Just run the data analysis. I guess they didn't have ChatGPT back then.
Whole
But,
corporations that make their money by just going through all the podcasts and getting all the data of them and selling it for advertisers. So anyways, yes, the Guinness Book of World Records rejected our bid for our world record shattering 100th episode of Canary Cry Radio. But
here we go. I have it.
You have it?
I have the email. I do. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay, dear Gonzo, this is March 8th, 2016. Okay, so this is over 10 years ago. This is over a decade ago. It says here, thank you for sending us the details of your proposed record attempt for most number of guests for a single podcast episode. Unfortunately, after thoroughly reviewing your application with members of our research team, we are afraid to say that we cannot accept your proposal as a Guinness World Records title. Our team of expert records managers receive thousands of new record proposals every year from all over the world, blah, blah, blah. For every record verified by Guinness World Records must be measurable by a single superlative, verifiable, standardizable, breakable, and also present an element of skill. What? You know what? I'm offended by.
I'm offended by that.
I'm absolutely offended by their little mishmash of words here. Unfortunately, we cannot standardize the amount of time that a guest must be present on the podcast because we cannot standardize this record. We cannot create a new category for this attempt. Boo-hooey.
And I forget how many we had. I think it was like close to 40, maybe.
It was 40 something, 50, something like that.
Yeah. And we actually had thought about that. We're like, no, we can't just have them say one word. We got to actually talk to them. You know?
Right.
We gave everybody, I don't know how much time we gave them, but everybody talked. Anyways, getting a little sidetracked here. Sorry about that. Okay, I got.
I'm trying to find out if the category actually exists now, because that would be the ultimate slap in the face if they actually made it into a category.
Ooh, can you look? Can you put it on?
I'm looking. I'm trying to find. Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Hold on, if there's anything like it. There are likely many podcast Guinness World Records. I don't know if there is like an actual number of guests per episode type thing.
While you do that, I'm going to read this text message from Kat. Kat sent a text message, says, "Hey Basil, so I'm listening to you talk about how you wish you had kept News Talk and radio together on Clubhouse. Just wanted to let you know, I for one am glad you did. I recommend News Talk to my normies much more readily than radio. It kind of eases them into the fringe, smiley face. If I tell them about CCR, I don't give them a link, find it on their own, kind of let the Holy Spirit be the one to direct their discovery of it. I personally wasn't ready for radio until I listened to News Talk for about a month. Anyways, there's my opinion. Blessings, praying for you always, for you both." Kat. Thank you, Kat. Yeah, this is something that has kept Gons and I up for at least a decade. Should we have separated News Talk from radio? Two different shows. It's too confusing. I don't know. But thank you, Kat, for the reasons that Kat gives are the reasons why we did decide to keep them separate. Right? It's like a funnel. It's a little bit of a funnel system. Hey, some people like the news. Let's get into the news. Let the news lead you into Genesis 6 and aliens and Bigfoot and all that kind of stuff.
So, according to my deep analysis research, there is still not a most guests on a podcast episode category. But there are some parameters, and maybe this is something, I don't know about episode 1000 or episode 200 or something for Canary Cry Radio. But There is a world record of most radio interviews conducted in 24 hours, and this is radio. So this is a little different. It was 347, and the requirements for each interview was that there were at least 5 questions, and every question had to be unique in the period of 24 hours. So, I mean, that's like the closest thing they have so far. We could pull that out for sure.
I could do that easy.
But 347 guests is a lot. That's a lot of guests.
That's a lot of guests to line up. Yeah. What's the math on that? 347 divided by 24. How many do you have your calculator out?
Yeah, it's
your beautiful Asian
14 guests per hour. That's possible. That's doable. I mean, that's
14 divided by 60. What is that to 4? So it's about 4 minutes a guest. Every 4 minutes.
4.5 minutes. And you got to ask 5 questions. So each question has to be like asked and answered in under 45 seconds.
Oh,
that's rough. That's rough for our guests. You know,
that's challenge though. I like that. I like that challenge. I get it. I could see myself getting off and rambling, and I'd be too interested in some of these.
Yeah, we would both sabotage the record by going off on our own little rants. So I don't know that would work. But hey, you know,
I'm down to try.
At least we know some parameters now. You know, we got some guidance.
What was the number of guests on the world?
347 in a 24-hour period. Yeah, but this is radio. It's not podcast. It's radio. So
yeah,
I'm sure it applies.
350 Canarians. We could line up 350 Canarians.
That's true. We could do that.
We could do that.
But we probably couldn't repeat the same 5 questions to each guest.
No,
you literally have to come up with.
That's what I mean. Well, that's what I've been training for, Gons. That's what the Joyspiracy theory has been all about.
1,750 questions we would have to come up with.
It's all yes or no. It'd have to be all yes or no. It's like, have you seen a ghost? Are you safe?
Are you safe? Did you eat pancakes this morning? All right, poor Guinness World Record guy who has to sit through that. I'm sure they got like AI running stuff now, right? You don't even have guys sitting there like the clipboard anymore.
We're having fun.
All right, okay. We'll just wait.
Shout out to 937 who joined the text message alert system. Says how Basil uses auspicious. Now, see, this is kind of part of train dimension that I'm in. I've only been gone for a couple of episodes, but I've been on a train twice now. So I'm in like a whole nother dimension that it feels like years ago that I was talking about the word auspicious instead of suspicious. This is, if you're new here, please hang around. There's a long conversation going on in the community here, but it says how Basil uses auspicious can be viewed as an artistic thing. However, for me, the following applies. Whenever Basil uses auspicious, I automatically, momentarily drop out of the narrative to determine which definition applies in context. It only takes a moment for this to happen, but I miss some of the intervening narrative every time. Others may also be affected this way too. Peace in the Lord, brother. Thank you, 937. And that's a good point. Yes. And, but I will, what he's saying is when I use auspicious in what someone might consider to be an incorrect way, it distracts them from the conversation that we're having. And I will, again, defend myself by saying, that's what I'm trying to do, baby. I'm trying to wake you up. Pay attention, okay? Don't just get lulled into the sweet, sweet sounds of conversations about conspiracy theories and UFOs and the book of Revelation, biblical prophecy, etc. No. Wake up. Wake up. There you go. Auspicious. Thank you very much. 937.
Yeah, thank you.
We got 678 sent a text message, and I cannot find it, but I do have the link here. They sent the link for a podcast. We were talking about the Georgia Guidestones last week or a couple of weeks ago or whatever. And what happened to them? I mean, we know they got blown up at a very strange time during COVID. I imagine that there are some like the Berlin Wall, chunks of blown up Georgia Guidestones, like mounted on pedestals in Freemason lodges all over the country. But this 678, is that who I said? Yeah, 678 sent us a link to an app on Apple Podcast. There is Who Blew Up the Guidestones, and it is a podcast. In the text, which I cannot find now, they mention that this is like NPR related, National Public Radio.
It's an all new podcast from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution and Goat Rodeo. That's what it says.
Yeah.
Here.
So it's I was trying to find a connection to NPR. I don't think it is NPR, but it is very
definitely NPR style.
It's very NPR style. In fact, I hate to do this.
Should we play the trailer?
I love to do this. Let's play their trailer for the podcast Who Blew Up the Guidestones.
Here we go. Can you hear it?
No.
In the middle of a grassy field, a pasture really, are 6 huge gray slabs of solid granite, 19 feet tall, about the height of a 2-story house. And they're arranged like a monument, an ancient monument, like Stonehenge. There are words etched into the stones in 8 different languages: English, but also Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, Chinese, and Russian. On closer look, those words on the stones are a set of directives, written like commandments. Some people call these America's Stonehenge, but for the thousands of people who came from around the world to visit them every year, they were known as the Georgia Guidestones. But if you wanted to visit this place in person today, read the messages on the stones for yourself. You'd be standing in an empty field. Because one night, a few years ago, someone blew them up.
Good.
That's the most stock sounding explosion.
In the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, this is Who Blew Up the Guidestones.
Oh, I can't take it.
The Georgia Guidestones may be America's answer to Stonehenge.
And then there was the Georgia Guidestones.
Did you ever see the Georgia Guidestones?
This is crazy.
Here I had a vision of people, that sat around on their tail and
designed to guide mankind to a safer future.
This to us looks like a modern day 10 Commandments.
And it basically preaches, I would say, communism.
These are people who enjoy keeping secrets.
Let's not forget that crime was committed here and somebody got away with it.
A man walks in his office, says, I want to buy a monument.
Whoever destroyed them needs to be held to justice because that's not how we do things in our country, right?
Political nonsense. Religious nuts.
You know it's still under criminal investigation, right?
500 million people.
They ought to tear that satanic symbol down in Elberton, Georgia.
All right.
So you can kind of see the vibe, right? And I'm looking at the list of episodes for the podcast, and it's quite clear you're getting that, at least that NPR point of view. Like, oh, aren't these crazy Christians? Aren't they crazy because they don't like a Freemason setting up like an altar that tells you to kill everybody on Earth and maintain a communist utopia? Aren't they crazy? I mean, that's the vibe I get. I have not listened to it yet, admittedly. And if anybody over there at Who Blew Up the Guidestones podcast, I'm going to listen, okay? I'm going to listen. We'll figure it out. I will say only to a very small degree motivated by my own curiosity, and even more motivated by Canarians out there who are sending me links to try to track down a piece of the Georgia Guidestones. I think I got to compete with this podcast, man. I think I need to go on a journey to try to find where the pieces of the guide stones are. Maybe they're just there. I don't know. But somebody said they got loaded up in a truck like an hour later and driven away.
Yeah, I really hope they reference our friends Dr. Future and Chris Pinto, who made the documentary Dark Clouds Over Elberton. And, if they better get some credit on this if they're going to do a fair assessment.
Is that about the guide stones?
Yeah, they figured out exactly who made the guide stones. They found the guy. He had a suitcase with a letter in there and the whole deal.
Yeah, if they don't include, if they're going to get into conspiracy theories and crazy Christians, then if they do not include Dr. Future's documentary about it, then it's trash. I'm
trash.
This podcast is going to get guide stoned. I don't know what that means. That's not a threat. I'm not threatening anybody. I'm just saying, if you didn't include the most important cultural touch points of the true researchers, you're going to get guide stoned. Okay, not a threat. Love you. Thank you for making that podcast, AJC podcast. I'm going to listen to it.
So it looks like the New Yorker said that at least one piece of the guide stones was, maybe that was, after the explosion, there was somebody who took a piece of it at the very least.
Somebody's got it. This shows just how little work I've done on this. I have not even tried to just go on eBay and search piece of Georgia guide stones.
They wouldn't call it piece of guide stone. There'd probably be some code for it, You got to figure out the code.
Oh, they would say
RC Christian, rock by RC Christian or something. He's the guy who allegedly funded the whole thing. So.
Granite charged with occult energy. There's some weird parts.
Powerful stone. Powerful chunk of monument.
eBay has a thriving economy of haunted objects being sold. And so dolls and things like that, you can search for haunted doll and buy a haunted doll on eBay. But there's very specific ways that you have to disclaimers and stuff you have to put in the listing. It's a whole subculture, Gons. I can't catch you up. But yeah, we will find a piece of the Georgia guide stones. We'll make it work.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. It looks like there's some stuff. It's mostly content on the stones, not the stones themselves. But maybe if I search long enough, we will find something.
Yeah. Okay. We're having fun today. I can feel myself getting back in the groove and just having fun being on air here. But we do need to keep moving. We had a speak pipe.
Yes.
From Liquid Bacons.
Liquid Bacons. Yes. Here we go.
Hey, Canarians. This is Liquid Bacons. I just wanted to share news. It's not good news. Anyways, sorry. Okay, well, anyways, you're all fans of Rob Skiba and Jeremiah Skiba and all that. But anyways, Skiba News Nation, they lost Opa. And if you know them, then you know and love Opa and all that. And so I just wanted to share the news and to go over and call the producers for Jeremiah and Lindsay Skiba and all their friends and family and Jake and all that. I just wanted to let you guys know that they lost their Opa and for everyone who Opa was dear to, sorry, I'm bad with words right now, but I just wanted to let the Canarium know to lift all the Skibas up for prayers and to send a little extra love to them and all that. So yeah, love you guys and thanks for being awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Liquid Bacons. Yeah, man, do you have a producer jingle ready?
I do, yeah.
Producers, assemble!
I'm so sorry to hear that. It's so interesting. We were just on Clubhouse talking about Skiba News Nation and I won't go into the whole thing, but it's been a conversation here for a couple weeks, and their booking person actually reached out to me and is going to get us connected, and that's wonderful. And I apologize, I have not responded to their booking person, but Lord help me, I want to get connected. But that's very sad. I'm so sorry. What Opa was the name?
It was Jeremiah Skiba's grandfather, and he used to have a little segment on Skiba News Nation. I don't know how long he ran it for, but he called it Opa's Corner, crediting his grandpa for some different things in his life. It was a father figure to him. So
wow,
real sad. That's a bummer, man.
I wish my grandpa was on this show. That's cool, man. I'm so sorry to hear that. To the whole Skiba family, God bless you guys. And to all the Canarians here listening now, let's go give some love to the Skiba News Nation folks. And yeah, goodness gracious, just we'll pray for God's comfort and strength on the whole family, because that's always doesn't matter how or when or who. That's just always such a tough part of this life that God has orchestrated for us here. So we'll be praying for the whole Skiba clan over there. God bless you guys.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Oh, speaking of which, jeez Louise.
I know. They're all, God's taking them all, Basil. They're bringing them all home.
Dvorak over at No Agenda.
I know.
I wish I had something to say. Like, I wish I had something to do. I wish I had something. But it happened while I was out writing the Rails, interdimensional Rails, and goodness gracious, John C. Dvorak over at the No Agenda show passing is just devastating to me. I of course, in our line of work, Gons, we pay attention to a lot of obituaries, be they celebrities or politicians or whatever. But when it's the podcasters, when it's my buddy John C. Dvorak, it's too much. It's too much. I haven't been able to, I'm sure that Adam, and I'm sure Mimi's over there doing stuff with Adam. I haven't been able to listen. I get teary just thinking.
Yeah, there was a 6-hour extravaganza on Thursday. Most of it was just thanking producers of the No Agenda show, and everyone had notes and beautiful things to say about John.
Yeah.
Had some family on there, and it's like any good sort of memorial thing, but it's cool to be able to do it for 6 hours. I was a tech at a church for a long time, and we had a chapel, and I did a lot of weddings as a tech and a lot of memorials, and they got to cram in a lot of stuff in like an hour and a half or something. And
Right.
it never does justice for those individuals, and a lot of times they would do like a luncheon or something after where people can tell stories and whatnot. But it was really cool to hear everybody's sort of impact, how much John impacted them.
Yeah.
And so it's sad. And especially because he, I went back and listened to his last episode. Don't do that, Basil. You might not make it all the way, but that last segment, man, it was tough because it just seemed like another show. It was just like, yeah, we'll be back Thursday. Everything's good. And then, the news hit Monday.
Yeah, I listened
Tuesday
to
or
it.
something,
I listened to his last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like there was anything going on. So, I mean, we knew he had gone through a heart surgery or something, or something recently, a health thing recently.
Yeah. He had his thing, but he was doing good. I mean, there was a moment on the last episode that he was on that I listened to, where he had a little coughing fit, and you could tell Adam was actually worried about him. But he's just, oh no, just something went down the wrong tube or something. And I'm not saying it's related, but it kind of got me thinking, just like, I mean, it's different when it's your podcast buddies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's wild too. And they talked about it on the No Agenda show on Thursday. So I saw the when they announced his passing, It went viral on X. Like it got picked up by X as a story and stuff. And it said that he passed at the age of 74.
Yeah,
and
I
then
saw
later
that.
the official thing came out, and he was 80 years old. So he lived a long, fruitful life. But they told the story of why there was a discrepancy. It was actually very funny. So go listen to that if you can make it.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know there
Adam's
was-
eulogy.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, basically the bottom line is John didn't want to come off as so old. And so at some point, I can't remember the exact story. At some point, he had lied about his age and he made himself younger. And the New York Times picked up on it. They didn't do any background check on
AI,
it.
right,
And
the
yeah, it was
mainstream
the whole point was for John to eventually come out and say the New York Times is a scam. They don't even check their stories, because they got his age wrong or whatnot. So, just to the end, Basil, to the end, he was making, exposing the corruption and all that. So he'll be missed. But yeah, I mean, this is been a tough few years, man. A lot of our, kind of our forefathers are just, I mean, but what's crazy though? We're not too far behind there, but you know what I mean? Like just reality, like there's not a whole lot there's just a few decades to go here, if the Lord even permits.
Our
day is coming.
To see how No Agenda handles this transition and what happens is going to be very, very important for you and I, Gons. Lord willing, we got a lot more time, but if something happens, I don't know what in the world we're gonna do.
That'll be a day. That'll be a day for sure.
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Prayers out to the Dvorak family and Mimi and the kids there and all that. So,
And of course,
in the nation
as well.
Yeah, of course.
I did see the Odyssey, but I'm not going to talk about it. We're getting too off the rails. I will say 716 texted and says, I have a piece of Georgia Guidestones on my shelf. Got it from
you better where?
Media Bear got a bunch of pieces. They live near it. I won a piece years ago. So somebody called Media Bear goes up and gets a bunch of the pieces. Okay, they've got a YouTube channel. Okay, well, maybe I'll get connected with Media Bear. All right, we gotta keep.
We gotta tighten up. We gotta. It's been the longest.
We gotta thank some producers.
Yeah, thanks some producers.
Let's do it. We are on value for value model, which is the mod. You might think you understand it. I find that a lot of people think they know what value for value means, but when it comes down to it, they don't. And this is something that John C. Dvorak and of course Adam Curry have been very good at learning us a thing or two, Guns, is that value for value is not just tipping your podcasters, not just joining a Patreon, not just pitching in to keep the thing going, but it really is an entirely different, I wouldn't even say new, because I actually think it's very, very old. In fact, the phrase value for value shows up in Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged, which caught me by surprise a few weeks ago. But the whole point is, look, we're going to make as much value as we possibly can. And that comes in the form of the show, comes in the form of the community, it comes in all different forms, right? And if you get any value from what's going on here, there's an understanding just at the very basic cosmic level of reality is that if you're getting value, just know that we do not take any money from corporations, commies, cartels, nobody. We don't do any ads, platform partnerships, nothing. This entire technocratic beast system that is built on a foundation of convincing or tricking all of us that things on the internet are free because we just watch ads. Don't worry, just let our little advertising worms get into you. Big data, privacy concerns, it's all in service to the ad model. And so to even participate in the ad model by running ads or partnering with platforms or whatever is participating in the very same system that now is expressing itself in like Palantir and AI draft simulations. And so, we're just having a hard time getting into that because we are a little bit too maybe heavenly minded to be any earthly good as far as that goes. So we are on the value for value model, which means if you get any value from this show, just know that it can only exist and will cease to exist someday, but can only exist day by day by the generosity and the participation of our producers. And you guys are our producers, every single one of you, not just listeners. And if you are just a listener, you need to change your mind, bro. Change your mind. See the light. Because we're exchanging value constantly. But keep in mind, you can produce this show with your time, your talent, or your treasure. There's a lot of ways to do it, okay? It's not just about money. We got people who make art and music and jingles, use whatever skills God has given them to improve the show in this way or that. You can go to CanaryCry.Art to upload your art there. We'd love to feature it on the show. If you have time to help us out with stuff, we got people who timestamp the show, they work in the communities, they moderate stuff, they help us with the supply drop. People give their time, their precious time that God has given them to bring value to the show. That's very important. But if time and talent aren't your thing, you can support the show with your treasure. Very simple. Just support the show with any amount of fiat currency, gold, Bitcoin, whatever the Lord calls you to put value back in. Please do it because it is essential. It's like it's a law of nature. It is the way God set up the universe, is value for value, all the way down to little bacteria, the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom. Everybody's given something, everybody's getting something, and that's how the whole big wheel keeps on turning. So same here. And so whether you sign up for a monthly producership, big old shout out to all of our monthly producers who sign up and pledge to support the show monthly on a recurring basis. Thank you very much. Or you can produce the show with any amount at any time. Okay, just come in, go to CanaryCry.Support. You'll see all sorts of buttons. Just start clicking them. That's right. Maybe the Lord's put a number on your heart. Maybe it's $1. Maybe it's $5. Maybe it's 777 or 1111. There's all sorts of fun numbers. People have some fun with it. The executive producers, though, these are the people who come in and support the show for $100 or more for any individual episode like this. And so they are officially executive producers. They can put it on their resume. They can do whatever they want with that information. But we like to thank them, of course, exuberantly. And I'm going to do that now. We haven't read producers since last Wednesday. No, the 15th.
It's been a while.
It's been almost a couple weeks here since we read producers. So all of these producers, this is the list that came in over the past 2 weeks. I'm going to start with executive producer Dame Madelyn.
Dame Madelyn. Thank you.
Coming in for 107.77.
777.
With a note that says, hey, I've continued to be supremely blessed by your content, especially Clubhouse. I've just come out of years of spiritual darkness into insane levels of peace and hope despite personal circumstances, and Basil's journey has encouraged me in my own. Thanks. God bless you, Dame Madelyn. I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, and for those poor Canarians out there who don't listen to Clubhouse because they just want news, you're missing out. God is doing some serious stuff over at Canary Cry Clubhouse. Supernatural optimism is spreading like wildfire. Thank you, Dame Madelyn. It reminds me of a text that we also just got from 785 texted and says, Basil, I have also felt the completely overwhelming heavenly bliss come upon me, similar to what you have spoken in the Clubhouse. It has come to me in dreams and also in my time awake during the day. Does that interest you, dear listener? Is anybody wondering what perhaps all these people might be talking about? Well, then you need to go listen to Canary Cry Clubhouse. Thank you, executive producer Dame Madelyn.
Yep. Thank you, Dame Madelyn. Appreciate it.
Let's see here. We got executive producer Christine S. comes in
Christine S. Thank
for a
you.
nice round number, which is a good time to remind everybody when you produce the show financially. If you come in with just a nice round number, that's you telling us you'd prefer we do not disclose the amount on the air. If you don't mind us disclosing the amount on the air, do like Dame Madelyn, put $7.77 on there, 107,777, 33 cents, 111, that kind of stuff. Have some fun with the number. That tells us that you don't mind us saying it on the show. But Christine S. comes in with a nice round number and says, you guys are awesome. Thankful for your hard work. Thank you, Christine S. Executive producer Christine S. Called in on Clubhouse recently. Wonderful, wonderful person. We got executive producer Dame Sarah of the Shadows is back on the list.
Sarah.
Thank you, Dame Sarah, coming in for $111.11. 111. Thank you very much. I'm just gonna triple check to see if a note came in from Dame Sarah. She doesn't always send one, but I didn't see one. Okay, no, I'm not seeing one. All right. Thank you, Dame Sarah. Of course, we have the one, the only executive producer, Sir LX Protocol, V2 Berrean of the Berrean Protocol.
Berrean.
Thank you, Sir LX Protocol, V2 Berrean of the Berrean Protocol, coming in for his $100.33.
Illuminatus!
And he's keeping it going. He's keeping it going. He's been supporting the show for 507 episodes in a row.
Ooh.
And is on a 161 episode executive producer streak. Incredible. What would we do without you, Sir Alex Protocol? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
During the show today, we actually had another executive producer come in, and I am so happy to announce, because again, remember, this list is 2 weeks long here. So, but I want to thank executive producer Tabitha K. Tabitha K comes in, and executive producer Tabitha K comes in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 1,000.
Excuse me?
$1,234.56.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that incredible?
That is instant Dame.
Folks, that's true. Tabitha, you are insta-damed. If you're not already a dame, you're an insta-dame. So we're going to go back and forth. We got to get a night name, or you can dame anybody else you want on the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. And if you don't know, folks, go to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, and you will see a list of producers who have supported the show in the amount of $1,000 or more. Sometimes it's all at once, like Tabitha. Sometimes it's over many, many years of consistent monthly donations, or whatever it is. But it is a seat of honor in the community here. And Tabitha, you're on your way to damehood. Okay, so let's keep this conversation going. But man, Gons, now this will not surprise anybody out there, because everybody is freaking out right now. We're all just surviving, and I don't want to give you too much of a peek behind the curtain, but Gons and I are also just kind of surviving a little bit,
hanging by a thread. Yeah.
And to the glory of God, by the way, that we even exist here, not just because of the breath in our lungs, but that we're even able to do this. So praise God for that. But when things start getting real dire, and I challenge anyone out there listening to me, look, we're all having a hard time, okay? Here's the thing. Remember the times that God has done his thing, okay? Because things get really bad. They come up to the line all the time. And we can get nervous, and we can kind of forget that God's got it all under control. And these are the moments where our faith is tested, or even just we start to wonder what our theology is, kind of stuff like that, or not, or maybe we just make it through. But here's the thing: he always comes through, and it may not be the $1 million jackpot bonus, but he gives us our daily bread. Okay. Psalm 23. Go check it out. Go listen to Canary Cry Clubhouse if you want my breakdown on that. But the fun part is for us, Gons, as podcasters on the value for value model, trying to do the Lord's work here. God gets to use people like Tabitha to save the day. So thank you very much, executive producer Tabitha K.
Thank you, Tabitha. Unbelievable.
Tabitha K sent a note here. It says, Basil and Gons. I can't believe I just rambled for so long. I have not.
No, it's okay. That's when an executive producer comes in, that's with that kind of thing. It's just naturally from the heart. Yeah.
Tabitha's note reads, Basil and Gons. For a few years now, my daughters and I have thoroughly enjoyed CCNT. Girls love the jingles. I love the breakdowns. Your gifts of time, talent, and treasure to your listeners is being used by the Lord. Grace and peace from 406. Thank you very much, Tabitha from the 406. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You know, I did a little rant about that. I didn't thank producers last episode when I was solo, but yeah, there's like this supernatural thing with this podcast. Like this podcast should not exist.
No, it shouldn't.
The way we run the podcast, it should not be around.
And
but
people might not understand that. Like we've said this for a long time, and so it might just sound like a funny, cute thing that we say sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm serious. People do not understand the intensity by which this podcast should not be happening.
It should not be. Every time we hit live, it is an absolute miracle. So if you're joining us and if you're producing, you are participating in the miracle
on every single level. Okay, it's not even just financially, although that's obviously a big part of it.
Yeah.
On every level you can think of, this podcast existing defies the laws of nature. Okay. And that defying the law of nature is what we call a miracle. Okay. So thank you for thank you, executive producer Tabitha, for being part of that miracle today. And thank you to all of our executive producers for being part of that miracle today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just going to run down the list of everybody so we don't have to stop again later.
Okay.
Is that fine? Okay, these are the
fine,
producers who came in over the past 2 weeks under the executive producer amount. We love them very much, and so should you. Starting producer William M. comes in for 6868.
6868. I wish I had a jingle for you.
What?
I said I wish I had a jingle for that.
Oh, yeah.
68. It sounds like a great number.
Well, I will recognize William's self-control to do 6868.
Ah, yes. Okay, I see. Yes. Thank you for that. Yes.
I don't know if William did it on purpose. Maybe it was a subconscious thing. Maybe he didn't even know why he was picking 6868. But your self-control and your piety is appreciated, William M. Thank you very much.
Fruit of the Spirit.
Fruit of the Spirit there.
Yep.
Parker N comes in, produces the show for 5678, 5678.
All right. Thank you.
Nicole C comes in and joins the Canary Cry T-shirt Council.
All right.
That's right. Go to CanaryCry.T-shirt.council.com, folks. Do you like T-shirts? Do you wear T-shirts? Join the Canary Cry T-shirt Council. You will be intimately involved in creating, voting, picking, making sure that the perfect Canary Cry T-shirt is made every quarter for the world to see, and you get a free T-shirt every quarter. So thank you, Nicole C.
Yeah, thank you.
Rebecca T has kept her streak coming in every episode. One for 1776, one for 1221, 1221, and today for 2222, and is on a 44 episode streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Boom.
And,
did we miss her for the 42nd
we
episode
did.
streak?
We missed her 40 seconds.
This message to Hiram a bit.
There you go. The answer, 42.
That's right. Producer Monica K is also keeping her streak coming. She came in for a pocket full of threes, pocket full of threes, pocket full of nines, 777 on a 14 episode streak, which means we missed her 12.
Yeah, she's on a street.
Might as well be walking on the sun.
Walking on the sun. Monica,
Thank you, Monica K.
Monica sends a note that says, I'll have to listen on the RSS feed tomorrow, but didn't want to lose my streak. Sending love to my community. I pray for you all whenever you come to mind, which is all the time. Haha. Love you guys. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you, Monica. By the way, the prayers, I mean, I was so sick last Monday. I talked about it a little bit on because I went live on Tuesday instead of Monday last week. And as soon as I put out because I couldn't move most of the day, but then when I put out I think it was maybe a tweet or something, and I could just feel the prayers, man. I can feel my body just healing, supernatural healing. So the prayers are incredible. So prayers.
I mean, don't even get me started on spiritually producing the show with your prayers.
Yeah,
which everyone should be doing on top of their other value for value things. My trip, not going to go into it, but let me think here. On my trip, it was just kind of this cascading, almost Three Stooges like comedy of things going wrong, which is why I actually couldn't be on the show. I had brought my mobile rig. I was going to do the show from the road like I used to do when I was a young man. But from basements flooding, I lost my glasses in a really funny way. Like my food was like being supernaturally taken away. It was just the weirdest trip I've ever been on, which is probably why I'm a little loopy today, going through train portals and such. But yes, to tie back in to those Canary Cry Clubhouse heads who are listening now, we're still going, baby. Supernatural optimism in the face of losing all the most important things that I could possibly have while on a trip far away is still going, baby. We're feeling good. That's what it's all about. And if you want that and you don't know what I'm talking about, go to Canary Cry Clubhouse. Go listen to the show. By the way, we've never actually said this out loud, but
oh boy,
you probably already know this. But in case somebody doesn't know this, Canary Cry Clubhouse gets posted on the RSS feed for the podcast. So every third episode on the regular podcast feed is a Clubhouse episode. So just listen to it. It's there. What else you got to do? You got to listen to the Tucker Carlson episode with Sean Ryan first. Well, you don't have time to listen to Clubhouse and like activate
they'd rather listen to X with the air quotes CIA than people just talking about their
I don't get it. Again, as much as this show should not exist, Clubhouse should not exist, and it somehow does. Okay. Last but not least, we got producer Patrick M. Patrick M came in and signed up for the Patreon.
All right. Thank you, Patrick.
And of course, you know what? We should have pitched him earlier. We're going to start pitching him earlier, but we also had coming in value for value, producing the show, Cage Rattler Coffee. Cage
Rattler Coffee. Come on, Jingle Maker.
So why don't we take a little break, get a cup of Joe? Get a cup of Joe and we'll strategize how we can protect you, the Constitution, and democracy itself for generations to come. That is a good cup of Joe.
That's fun. CageRattlerCoffee.com. Go get it. It's coffee sourced from single origin, organic, non-GMO, non-Nephilim produce from around the world, made by Canarians, roasted by Canarians, packaged by Canarians, just for you. Incredibly competitive prices, and you're not getting all the moldy, gross, burnt chemical coffee that literally almost every other coffee company gives you. Okay, it's the best coffee you're going to drink. People tell us that all the time. Go to CageRattlerCoffee.com and get on it. There's a subscription. You can get Coffee of the Month Club. You can try your Nephilim Hunter Dark Roast, Emu Wrangler Medium Roast. Go get it. The time is now, folks. Go do it.
By the way, little alpha, if you will. There is a DVDs tab now on the Cage Rattler Coffee, and if you go to the DVDs tab, you might might find some other things you can grab from.
They have
Cage
DVDs.
Rattler Coffee. Yeah.
Are
Go
you
look at that.
always wondering where can I watch Age of Deceit 1, 2, and 3, or 2, 3, and 4? I see 3 of them there. Where's the other one? Are we still
the other
working on the
one,
original?
you know how it goes.
Okay, yeah, you know, there was this site is under construction. That's very fun. Go get your DVD versions of Age of Deceit at CageRattlerCoffee.com.
It's all there. It's all there.
It's got everything you need.
Yep.
Cage Rattler Coffee.
So there you
Okay.
go.
Thank you, Cage Rattler Coffee.
Mhm.
They produce the show Value for Value as well. All right, I got my streakers on for Wednesday's show. You're still streaking. Sounds good. I didn't see any art come in for today. Saw some fun art for last week. Thank you very much to our artists. And remember, if you want to make something for the show, it doesn't matter what it is, go to CanaryCry.Art, upload the art there. It's a blast.
Yep. Maybe we should add another T to the producers. You know, we got time, talent, treasure. Something like tefillah. Tefillah means prayer in Hebrew. You know, we can add prayer to.
Okay.
It might be hard. It doesn't roll off the tongue.
I mean,
You know,
there's
we can say like
proof of
tribute or
that.
something.
We can see. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Oh, I did want to give a shout out to MSDS. Lovely producer,
Yes.
MSDS.
Thank you, MSDS.
Recorded and posted a wonderful little video over on X, encouraging people, telling them the show was going to go live, telling them to catch the show, wearing the Canary Cry t-shirt. It was wonderful. Thank you, MSDS, for that.
Yep. Thank you, MSDS. All right.
Okay. Wow. What a
We
day.
need to get
Let's
back to
the
well, we had to catch up on some things.
It's
So
crazy.
Yeah. All right. So what are we doing? Re-enchantment? Is that what we're doing?
Re-enchantment.
Okay. Hold on. Let's see. Re-enchant. Where is my re-enchantment jingle?
Oh,
Re-enchant. Oh, here it is.
The Mary Poppins with a song, maybe. Re-enchantment. Yeah, there you go. It works. There's nothing you can do during implementation. Listen to your beats. It's way we're here to do the best we can. And so re-implementation is everything you know.
Re-enchantment.
Boom.
Has the Carl Tykrib episode dropped yet?
I think so. Yeah. I thought we dropped
Did
it last week. Yeah.
Yeah, great. I just wanted to make sure, because we are in the age of re-enchantment. It is here. Okay. It's happening all around you. It's happening not even just to your spiritually curious friends, but it's happening to the most atheist, scientific materialist amongst us. The world is being re-enchanted, sometimes in a good way. Sometimes the adversary and his little tricky tricks are sending people off in all sorts of funny directions. But Burning Man is coming up. The age of re-enchantment is here. And it always gives the most important insight into the most important changes in culture that we are going to be seeing. And this I found extremely fascinating in that regard. This is coming from The Guardian. And the headline here, I have to assume it has something to do with like UK slang or something, because The Guardian's from the UK. You know, I don't fully understand the headline, but it says, "The Rave Secret: Why Middle-Aged Women Are Larging It and
it's
health benefits."
It's British slang for like partying or like living
Larging?
it up, you know.
Larging it is like a party
going
thing?
large. Yeah.
Okay. Let me look, folks. These people are all around you. I've been trying to tell you this, me and Carl, for many, many years when it comes to burners and Burning Man, right? Everybody thinks it's all stinky hippies out there. No, I'm telling you, your doctor probably goes to Burning Man. Your lawyer, your professionals in your life, the most unexpected people are repeated participants in transformational ritual culture on a regular basis. It is if you think it is stinky hippies, you are being deceived, because they are all around you. And now even more revelation of the method, or maybe shall I say revelation of the method, being given to us here by The Guardian. It's 4 a.m. and I'm in a club says the author of this article. Who is it? Amy Fleming. Amy Fleming says, it's 4 a.m. and I'm in a club. The first time I've done this in years. I'm 51 and in my sandwich era, meaning I've got teenage and elderly loved ones on my mind, a situation that generally calls for early nights, but when your responsibilities maxing,
we're just maxing and everything's maxing now. Everything and just
this is
stop
beautiful.
Maxing.
Of course, the whole maxing language thing is a Gen Z, Gen Alpha kind of thing, which is perfect because this is an article by The Guardian written by a 51-year-old, so a Gen Xer, about going to raves as a 51-year-old. And so it makes nothing but sense that they would try to deploy the language of, the youngsters and say it's responsibilities maxing. Sometimes you need the opposite, a blowout, a huge transcendent resetting release, a rave. I don't know what took me so long to get around to it. Misplaced parental guilt, internalized ageism, exhaustion. It's not as though I didn't know other Gen Xers who have been regularly getting blissfully, ceremonially even, lost in house, techno, or drum and bass, and they're not alone. So right off the bat, second paragraph, we're using the language of the re-enchantment, ceremonially. A 2025 study by the University of Leeds went viral. Women aged 40 to 65 are turning to raves for real mental health. It's all about the mental health, folks. It's good for you. Okay? If you think I'm joking, let's keep going. Women aged 40 to 65 are turning to raves for real mental health, said one of many Instagram posts and press headlines. Why women over 40 are going to raves, read another. But surely the question should be, why the heck wouldn't they? Why not? Many of those who do never actually stopped, period.
Yeah. The many of those who do, who go, never actually
My
stop.
brain was tweaking there. Okay. Many of those who do never actually stopped. Of the 136 women surveyed for the study, quote, 82% had been attending for more than 20 years, says one of its authors, Alinka Greasley, professor of music psychology. That's an interesting thing. Professor of music psychology.
That is a great excuse to go to concerts, write it off.
It's a great way to be a college professor and go to raves. Quote, and this is great. Again, professor of music psychology, quote, I'm a DJ myself, she says, quote, I still go out raving, and I've been doing so for 26 years. But others, like me, had lapsed, only to return when the need became borderline desperate. So they're talking about desperate middle-aged women going out to raves. There's a small amount of psychological literature looking at why clubbers stop as they get older. Right off the bat, I'm kind of like, why do you even need to mention that there's studies about why people stop clubbing as they get older? Notice they don't actually even give the source. They don't give a name of a paper. They don't do anything. They're just like, we're the Guardian. Science says that as you get older, you stop going to raves. With women citing family responsibilities, says Greasley, quote, or saying, I feel that women of my age shouldn't be doing those activities. Joanna, 50, started clubbing again 6 years ago and now goes every few months with old friends. Quote, there's something about it being completely separate from parenting and work that feels really special, she says. She realized she had been missing nightlife when her children were very little. Quote, and I love club culture, she says. Okay, now listen to me, Gons, because I know many people are going to be tempted to have a reaction to this, and many people might be tempted to project that reaction onto me. What I am not here to say is that older women shouldn't go to raves. Now there's going to be questions of what's going on. What are they, what are they trying to make up for something? There's a lot of opportunities to be critical of a 65-year-old woman going to a rave. I mean, even 65, less need to be critical than like a maybe 45 or 50-year-old woman who might have teenagers in the house. I don't know. So I just want to say now, if you think that that is what I am here to criticize, you're wrong. And I invite you to let that criticism go. Let's let the middle-aged women and the 40 to 65-year-old women off the hook. I'm not even saying they shouldn't go to raves, but what we're analyzing here is the programming of the media, the propaganda, the building of the culture to encourage women between 40 and 65 to go to raves for their health. Okay? So I bet that we have at least a handful of women 40 to 65 listening now who probably go to raves. Scientifically speaking, from the studies that I've seen, this is quite popular. Here we go. When going raving was first mooted by her friend, another UK word, I don't know what it means, Joanna's internalized ageism reared its head. Quote, I was so resistant. I was almost repulsed by the idea of a woman in her 40s going clubbing and possibly taking drugs. Repulsive. This unease at entering spaces that are traditionally associated with youth culture is not unusual. Greasley says that before she and her colleague Alice O'Grady did the study, women O'Grady had previously interviewed, quote, had experienced comments on the dance floor, such as, whose mum are you? And while some said they dressed up for self-expression, many dressed down to escape attention in a sea of 18 to 25-year-olds. Other comments included people saying such things as, quote, oh, can I take a photo of you? Or, quote, wow, I hope I'm still clubbing when I'm your age. But says Greasley, quote, negative attitudes were not a defining part of their participation. Quite the contrary. All right. So if you're a 40 or 65-year-old woman and you're scared of going to a rave and looking silly and people being mean to you, don't worry. Here's the truth. The music itself and dancing were the top draws for women, followed by socializing with friends. But, quote, overwhelmingly, says Greasley, quote, they were reporting that they did feel a really strong sense of belonging. There's a strong theme of age being irrelevant. They talk about making friends with people in different generations. Predominantly, they're going to spend time with their own friends, but also get something from being there around other people. A couple of women even said they go with their children and feel at home. That's fun. Come on, Mom. Let's go to the rave. Don't forget the Molly. Rachel Giddings, a psychotherapist who works with mostly EDM artists. There's a gig, huh? Being a psychotherapist.
Finish the sentence because this is
Rachel Giddings, a psychotherapist who works with mostly EDM artists on their well-being and uses psychology to hone their performances, says that while, quote, women often feel lost in society at a certain age, when you go into an inclusive dance space, you can enter a liminal space where time dissolves and everybody is treated as an equal. I'll tell you this, that's what it's like riding a train. When you're taking
it's a time machine.
It's a liminal space where time dissolves and everybody's treated as an equal. That's doing an overnight on an Amtrak, I'll tell you what. Doesn't matter if you're a CEO, a road sweeper, a woman, or a man. If you're 25 or 55, you can access that space, and that gives you a sense of belonging.
Can you say that since you've been to multiple Burning Mans, that's got to be the vibe at Burning Man too?
So
like all different ages, people just, kind of connecting with each other. Age doesn't matter. That
it is very interesting. And this is, if you're not familiar with Carl Teichrov's work, Transformative Events, if you're not familiar with what these things actually are. Again, if you're convinced that a rave is just like a den of sin for greasy youngsters to do bad stuff or something, you're totally missing the point. And we've reported on this at Burning Man, and I've also actually been to a couple raves over the years, rave proper. Okay. It was a weird thing. Too many loud noises and flashing lights for my enjoyment, but you're not going to make it as a millennial to almost 40 and not have a friend or two who's a professional DJ. So, but while there, for the spiritually sort of minded, right? If your spiritual feelers are out, there's a lot of really interesting things happening. And even down to the technical side of putting on these events. I told you about my buddy who does basically social engineering for events like festivals like Bonnaroo and stuff like that. He's not a musician or a light guy. He just makes sure the porta potties are in the right spot. But they all talk about it in this way. And same with the tech people. They're not just doing lights to look cool while somebody's on drugs. They're very seriously crafting everything, much like how an ancient population would put the precise energy and attention into like building a temple. When you get around the people who like put on these raves, they very much talk about it in terms that you could almost just assume they're building an ancient temple or something. Like it might be in the phrase of like vibes or this or that. The sound guys are all very into, vibrations and, putting out the 446 hertz, and it's all built into the music. I mean, these are sort of these secret little spiritual ceremonies going on all over the place. And it helps that everybody's also on drugs. And so, you put this much kind of frequency science and spirituality and drugs and things all into a hyper sort of expensive, hyper real experience like a rave. People are gonna, have a transformative experience. And if you're an older woman, you're gonna find God in the beat or something.
Well, that's what I was wondering, is that it seems like, in this type of moment in life, you either go back to maybe like your roots with maybe you went to church as a kid and people go back to church and find God, or you go to raves and like go to these transformative events.
Or both. There's a lot of both.
Or both. Okay.
There's a lot of both. My
church during the day, rave at night, or Christian raves. Is that a thing?
The algorithm knows that I'm like hyper interested in learning about like subcultures and things to like help understand what's going on. There is a very serious subculture of professed Christians who, with no shame at all, but also, they're not even wishy-washy. They're not wishy-washy Christians. They present as very serious Christians who also spend a lot of times at raves, and some of them almost proudly also are participating in the pharmakia side of it. Obviously, we're all going to have a lot of opinions about that. But as far as the existence of a subculture, there's some weird stuff going on in the rave scene. Let me keep going. My big night out was in a vast club filled with mostly young people, but all the eye contact from strangers was warm, inclusive, and full of shared wonder.
So there it is.
The wonder, the awe, right? We covered all those articles about wonder, awe, transcendence. The re-enchantment is clear. The fact that this is in The Guardian, and this is an article geared towards women between 40 and 65, shows that the re-enchantment is no longer a subculture. It's no longer going in the background. This article is an instruction manual for re-enchantment for women of a certain age. Let's see here. Full of shared wonder. To be fair, pretty much everyone seemed to be high or drunk or both. But as Giddings points out, with no judgment either way, you can reach that odd transcendental state without drugs. That was a little bit. I would not say that I reached some sort of transcendental state without drugs, but of course I'm at these things as more of a on safari. I'll say rave safari and support my friend.
You're observing you're like an alien looking at the human race in a zoo.
Stone cold sober. I'm telling you, you get into that place stone cold sober. The lights, the vibrations,
it takes you just it'll take you places.
It's like being on a train, okay? Yeah. It's like being on a train. It affects you in a very weird way.
Yeah.
Quote, these psychological states are absolutely accessible without substances, she says. When she posts on the topic on social media, she says, quote, there are thousands of comments where people say, never had a drug in my life, but I feel these feelings, or I've done drugs, but don't anymore and feel these feelings. So there you go. If there's any women who think they need to be on drugs, you don't need it. That they have the technology to zap you with basically what amounts to directed energy weapons.
That's what I was going to say. Voice
lasers and high frequency stuff. They just zap you into a transcendental state, which is something obviously we've notice at Burning Man too. Giddings says part of her mission is to redefine society's perception of rave culture as naughty or illicit. Quote, when you are going out on the dance floor, you are doing it because it's healing, because it's connective. People often say clubbing is escapist, quote, but actually the reframe is, love that.
The reframe, just calling it out.
This is a classic phrase, and this reframe thing is actually kind of exalted. It's like this magic word in professional settings, like psychology, psychiatry, and science. Because what they're saying is, hey, reframe this. And I'm not even saying it's bad. I'm telling you the power of the reframe.
Well, the power was demonstrated during the pandemic when they reframed what a pandemic was.
Exactly. Whenever you hear anyone say, let me reframe this, or the reframe is, what they're saying is, let me give you a narrative. Let me change the narrative. Let me tell you a different story. So the whole thing could be exactly the same, whatever the experience was or whatever. But the fact that humans are able to do this is also very indicative of, us being creations of the high mighty God, and making us in his image, that through simply telling a different story, we can affect things very seriously. And that's problematic when it comes to propaganda and social engineering. But, so here you go. It says it right here. The reframe. Okay, here's the new story. It's self-regulation together. We say, I'm escaping from my normal life, but we're actually seeking togetherness, identity, and belonging.
See, I'm not going out with. I'm not going to sneak out of the house with my friends to cause trouble. I'm creating fellowship opportunities. Mom, come on, Mom. These are fellowship opportunities.
And notice how these are the things you get by going to church.
That's what I'm saying. By the way, as you were doing this, I did find this righteous raves. Have you heard of this? Righteous raves. I guess it's the thing.
I've not heard of that, but I see it. I understand it.
Yeah. It's right.
There's
a worship experience.
Famous Catholic priest who is a incredibly famous EDM DJ, and he does it like in his garb and stuff. And
really?
And all the lasers and like the I forget his name. All the screens and everything. It's cool, and it's just filled with Christian imagery, but it's kind of funny. It kind of because there's a certain style of like bright, flashy, quick cuts, like that, that has to be very exciting and crazy. It almost seems like an MK Ultra style video, but like for Jesus,
Is it Guillermo Picotto, DJ Padre Guillermo?
That sounds right. He's the bald guy.
Yeah, he's bald guy with like he's got the thing on his
with
head.
glasses. Yeah, that's him.
It looks like it does look like he's mind controlling the masses with his.
Well, that's the thing.
Cool.
The technology of raves is mind control.
Yeah.
And look, we call a lot of things mind control because a lot of things are mind control. Advertising is mind control, right? So, we have some subtle, nuanced understanding of all this, but the technology of raves is mind control. The flashing lights, the lasers, the music, the high frequency, beams, the intention, the group dynamics, everybody's packed in there super tight. Your heart's whatever magnetic field is like merging with everybody else, whatever, that kind of vibration-y talk is. But yes, so, it's like a finally, and they've been going on for a while, obviously, since like the 80s or 90s. Is this?
Oh yeah, raves actually the UK.
Yeah, it's sort of, they've been in research and development for like 50 years.
Yeah,
and
right,
it's
right.
to the point now where the technology is so effective and honed that the Guardian is basically prescribing raves to women in the 40s to 65 or whatever to like find themselves again by going to these raves. And don't worry, you don't even have to take the drug. Just
Great.
a couple other little notions here that's going to connect it to the re-enchantment again. Dancing all night undeniably counts as exercise. Okay, it's healthy and comes with added mental health benefits that can be especially helpful when you're middle-aged, burned out, or perimenopausal. I'm not going to go down the perimenopausal rabbit hole here. But I'm sure a lot of women know what I'm talking about. The perimenopausal conspiracy theory is deep and strong right now. It's we're not going to go in.
You did skip the paragraph where it starts with this raving for well-being narrative. So they do call it a narrative, as Gideon points out, also appeals to Gen Z, an unprecedentedly health-conscious youth demographic. And then it gets into how the clubbing scene is like, it's much cleaner now than it was in the 90s.
Yeah, well,
it's
and that
different
fits with what we know about Gen Z, which is they're not drinking, they're not partying, they're kind of in a different zone than we were when we were kids. Greasley says these include feeling alive, feeling energized, both at the time and afterwards. And then also a lot of women report that the ability to go out and enjoy nights and to dance for hours has a positive impact on lowering anxiety, depression, low mood states. I've often likened the mood swings that come with perimenopause to the hormonal moods of adolescence. Perhaps for women, it's both of these times that we seek a release the most. Dancing with others is particularly medicinal, as Greasley says, quote, people moving together increase social connection and bonding. That entrainment with other people, I think, is particularly the case for beat-based music. There's research showing that this physical movement, entrainment, when the body synchronizes its movements to an external rhythm, leads to feelings of pleasure and social connectedness. EDM is structured to elicit sweet anticipation, building to huge group highs. You get buildups, you get breaks, the moment where the beat might come back in after a prolonged period, and everybody starts moving together, and that's what creates these highly pleasurable embodied experiences. And that can create these really powerful emotional experiences and chills within the body. Quote, the groups become one organism. So you've got this narrative, this framing, this reframing of an individual woman needing a break or a rejuvenation, going to a rave, being out till 5 a.m, and becoming one. And that's been a big part of the study of the re-enchantment and Carl Teichreb's work, this oneness, a sort of pagan oneness versus two-ness. are we separate from God? Is there, so this is inherently spiritual, right? They might
this
not
is like
be-
the. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say this is like the noosphere by the Jesuit priest Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, who first sort of conceptualized this idea that we're all becoming one into this singular organism, and our communications networks is creating the noosphere, which is sort of like it's a hive mind, basically.
It's the hive mind, and the hive mind is the center of like new agey kind of religiosity. The Guardian is publishing an incredibly religious text here. It's just, it's the religion of the re-enchantment, right? Let's see, the group becomes one organism, says getting, so we start to sync into each other's nervous systems, and when you're waiting for the beat, your heart rate starts to rise, and then boom, it's that somatic release of energy, and we can release that stress we brought with us and we don't want anymore. So you kind of get the point there. I'm going to jump down to the last paragraph. It says, it took me days to recover from my late nights. It was gone.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
No, I know. That's the funny part about it.
Takes me days to recover from
spiritual experience. It took me days to recover. It was gone 5 a.m. by the time I got into bed, ears ringing, body clock thinking it was nearly time to wake up. I slept terribly, but I felt revived in other ways. Being at the rave didn't make me feel old. I felt as if I'd come home. After all, my generation invented this. So there you go. It's a big part of the re-enchantment here. And, of course, I keep mentioning it, but it fits into our long-standing research into Burning Man and how Burning Man was the place to hone, to fine-tune, to experiment, the petri dish of social engineering. And then as we've seen year after year after year after year, the things that are perfected there at Burning Man are put into culture, installed, and then get to work on the work of social engineering for the age of re-enchantment, sort of new religion, right? That's needed for sort of the technocratic beast system. It's all, empathy box. It's very technocratic. It's very all this kind of stuff. And, it's one thing for it to be, available and encouraged for young people who can stay up till 5 a.m. It's a different thing for doctors and lawyers to do it at Burning Man. But for the Guardian, maybe the #1 most normie outlet in the world, to basically write a prescription for women over 40 to start going to raves fairly regularly, shows a pretty transformational shift in culture. Because remember, it starts out with women of a certain age feel they don't fit into culture anymore, that nothing's really for them, right? And so the answer is, well, raves. Go to raves. That's where you belong.
Much like going to church on Sundays is, you can call it a cultural ritual for us, in America, in the West here. I just looked up the schedule for raves in the UK. And I mean, effectively, there's calendars that have, rave is sort of, it's a loose term because it could be, like a huge, massive outdoor festival, or it can be just like a club thing. But in terms of one of their calendars called Skittle, they post there's raves every weekend in some of the major cities in the UK. And usually it's Thursday through Sunday, there's something going on. And in certain places in like London, it's like every night there's something, at least, So it's almost like the externalization of the hierarchy of the transformative events, where it used to be Burning Man and Tomorrowland and some of these huge festivals, and now it's just like, hey, you could get that every weekend. And I guess club life is kind of like that, but it's what was the word? Reframing these sort of weekend club experiences from simply just like, hey, it's been a rough week or long week at work, I just want to go have a few drinks and dance on the dance floor with friends or whatever. It's not that anymore. It's therapy. It's
Yeah,
it's a spiritual therapy for your
more than
well-being.
therapy, right? It's religion, and it's
Right.
gone from, it's kind of similar to, once a year I take a pilgrimage to go to the cathedral where I can worship, or even ancient, the ancient Hebrews who would take a pilgrimage to worship at the temple, right? They'd have to go
Right.
to the temple, do the temple thing, and then they go home for another year or whatever. And that's kind of how it has been for a while. Oh, I'm going to go to Bonnaroo once a year, and then I'm going to. And now, like you say, there being raves pretty much every day of the week. It's kind of the moving into the church age, sort of, in this way, where there's a church on every street corner, right? And every day of the week, there's a Bible study you could go to, or there's a this or a that. And yeah, again, most podcasters or content creators or something would be sort of tempted to be like, I don't know, have some sort of really basic, boring criticism of this. And as someone who has been and done research and experienced the weirdness that is these little technological spaces of raves, it reminded me of that gal who we interviewed about kill zones, kill boxes with 5G kill boxes, right? Where the setting up the 5G transmitters creates this little kill box around someone.
Yeah.
Going to a rave is kind of like being in a kill box, but they're not trying to kill you. They're trying to zap you into like a transcendent experience.
Wasn't the October 7th thing that kicked off our current iteration of the Israel-Palestine, wasn't that a rave?
It was definitely a music festival. I'm sure it was.
Was it a music festival?
It could very well have been a rave.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it was a music festival, not a rave, technically. But
well, I mean, lots of music festivals are raves. That's for sure.
I guess it's yeah. All right.
On that thing, I'm not going to read this, but I thought, I came across a couple of articles I was going to bring to the show. This one, the I guess the church age for women over 40 to go to raves all the time and find themselves, find identity, find belonging. There was this article from the Wall Street Journal, and because I was on a train, that's probably why I found this, but the Wall Street Journal had a headline: "A locomotive named Big Boy is making grown men cry." And I'm not going to read the article. Let me tell you this, though. Take all the concepts and the science and everything that we just read about the raves and women over 40 and apply all of that re-enchantment and oneness and everything to men and a giant steam locomotive that is roaming around the United States. It is making grown men cry. And they even get into very similar conversations about the beats and stuff. There's a quote here. Let me just give you a couple tastes of this. "This summer's tearjerker isn't a rom-com. It's Big Boy 4014. The 1.2 million pound locomotive built in 1941 to haul heavy freight across the Wasatch Mountains between Utah and Wyoming is traveling east of the Mississippi for the first time. At every stop of its coast-to-coast tour, grown men are welling up," said Ed Dickens, Union Pacific's chief locomotive engineer for Big Boy. Gordon Tobias teared up each of the 4 times he went to see Big Boy 4014 in action in Pennsylvania, twice at Valley Forge, twice at Conshohocken. Quote, "I never saw myself as a rail fan," said Tobias. "Bro, Tobias, you and me both, buddy. Never saw myself as a rail fan." A 64-year-old semi-retiree from Wayne, Pennsylvania, but after his first sighting, he was hooked. Quote, "Nothing beats feeling the ground vibrate, seeing the charting of the wheels and hearing the whistle," he said. "It's such a sensory experience." And it goes on about this particular train and these men who are having religious experiences standing by the tracks as this train goes by.
Is this the 250-year thing?
No,
American
no.
250 is a little
Very
different.
interesting. You mentioned that. I
Okay.
actually got. Oh, I showed it on Clubhouse. I got my. Yes, we saw the Trump 250 train, the America train. It's all red, white, and blue. Very cool. He wrote it to the Roosevelt Museum. That's cruising around, and I went into a train station, and I was looking for merch of that 250 train, of the American flag train. And I go, do you have anything of the, the 250 train? And the guy behind the counter gets so excited. And he goes, oh my gosh, yes, come look at this. I got what you want. And he's showing me all these things. And it wasn't merch of the 250 train. It was merch of the Discord train. So like, he's so fixated on this big steam locomotive that is changing men's lives. I ask him about a different train, and he thinks I'm talking about this train. It was just a whole mess. It was a whole thing. But it's working on all the same concepts. It's the vibration of the ground. It's the hearing the whistles, hearing the engines. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to talk more about this on Clubhouse because we are really having some fun today. When I first got on the train, my first overnight sleeper train, I had a little room, and I'm laying down in this room, feeling the train move, getting rocked to bed. It was wonderful. I felt like I was a baby in the womb again. Love it. I'll never sleep the same again. But this really almost supernatural comfort came over me. In this very uncomfortable bed. I mean, it's very uncomfortable. It's like a chair down in a bed, flat mattress, bad sheets. There's like, here, go to bed. But I was in this weird state of like supernatural comfort and bliss, like somebody texted us earlier. And I'm laying there on this train, and if you want to hear more about it, you can go listen to the Clubhouses. But like, I've been having some, like, God's really been I've been encountering God in a lot of really fun ways recently, like really life-changing ways. And so this kind of felt like another one of those. I'm like, whoa, dude, like, just felt like Holy Spirit was just like holding me as I'm trying to sleep on this train. But it occurred to me, and it made me wonder, as I go from sort of supernatural bliss into trying to understand it, to analyze it, my analytic brains kind of starts going. And I'm like, what? I wonder, with all this like frequency stuff and vibrations and blah, 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 trains are all vibrating a really weird thing. And, it's very Teslonian. To make a Teslonian like magnetic field, you spin like an iron disc, right? Discs of iron spin really fast, creates a magnetic field, kind of like what we have on Earth.
Magnetic levitation. We'll get to magnets in a second here.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. There's just a lot of weird stuff when you start moving big amounts of metal really, really fast. And it made me wonder, like, whoa, a car has gigantic metal wheels that are spinning at unimaginable speeds. And I'm like, oh Lord, if I could look at a moving train and like see the like electromagnetic fields, being generated by the wheels and stuff, there's probably some pretty crazy stuff like that going on trains.
You know about maglevs
or whatever.
You know about the maglevs, right?
Yeah.
Like levitation with magnets. I think there's some trains in Japan or high speed, rails or something using that technology where they use magnets, spinning magnets to kind of float over instead of like a normal train track with friction,
Yeah. I wonder if my comfy, cozy time sleeping on the train was like an effect of Thessalonian magnet coil field energy or something, like zapping me or something. I don't know, but it was crazy. Highly recommend it. If you have trouble sleeping, go on a train.
I love it. I love it. Okay.
Anyway,
So
to finich that out, yes, that
Yeah.
article. So the
Yes.
women go to raves, find your identity. Men go on trains. You'll have the same experience checking out this big boy train. Again, Wall Street Journal story too. It's just
It's coming into fruition. You called it.
Duper, mainstream news is all about these trains. All right.
Yeah, you called the train. And you know who loves trains, I think, is Trump.
We will launch a new age. I am
Innocent. Innocent.
They're coming after me.
They love killing.
All right, it wouldn't be a news show without a little bit of Trump. And speaking of magnets, this is last week or a couple weeks ago now. Just to put it on record here, Trump was really excited about magnets.
And critical minerals, and I hope you're going to do magnets. Somebody out there, I hope you're all brilliant people. Magnets. Do magnets, okay? I'll tell you how to make money. Do magnets. You're doing a lot of great stuff. Do magnets. Because one thing we don't have, but we're getting close, but do magnets. So I hope John Gray is listening to me so he can give him a couple of bucks and go into the magnet business. I guarantee it's going to be a success. It's one thing we don't, for some reason, it's not complex, not hard.
Basil, you heard the man. I think you and I should go into magnets.
Signal, it sounds like
it's
a investment signal. Time to invest in some magnets.
Some magnets, and like you were just talking about, there's a lot going on in the magnet world here. With the maglev stuff that I just mentioned, it could be the future of flying cars, flying trains. Or maybe not the way we imagined it, 50 years ago or something, but certainly it's technology that's being developed. And there was a program that went live last year. It's called Magneto. Do you remember Magneto from the Department of Energy, ARPA, publishing this? Okay, so this was released on August 25th, 2025. Magneto, magnetic acceleration generating new innovations and tactical outcomes. That's Magneto. The Magneto program is focused on the discovery and development of stronger magnets to improve energy productivity, reduce the cost of electricity generation, and enable smaller, lighter motors for American industry and transportation. Magneto projects will seek to find entirely new physics, chemistries, and structures for ultra-powerful magnets. They will accomplish this goal using tools including high-throughput computation, machine learning and AI, solid-state chemistry, and high-throughput synthesis. So I think maybe this was what Trump was talking about here. Magneto. And there you go. There's your alpha for everybody. Get into magnets, according to our president. And ever since I was a kid, I would have magnets in front of me, and I don't know. Maybe there's something about electromagnetism and magnets and stuff. I don't know. It does something to the male brain or something, because I recall holding magnets and playing with them and stuff and thinking like, imagine what you can do, because they repel and they, stick together, whatever. And I just remember thinking like
a magic a kid can encounter.
Oh, I know. But I remember even as like a youngster thinking like, imagine what you can do if you had a gigantic magnet and you could lift up, you can levitate the heaviest of materials, and all that stuff goes through your head, because there's that sort of it's almost like an enchanted feeling when you play with magnets when you're a kid. So anyway, just thought
magnets are wonderful. It's just,
I know
it's an interesting little gateway to the supernatural. Now, obviously, there are big ways in which that's the case, but for children to experience the invisible world of a magnet, the repelling, the attracting, that something is happening and it's invisible here and whatever. I mean, that's a great little that could be a great little pathway to God, to finding Jesus.
Yeah, there's metallurgy in the Bible. There's not like magnets in there like the way we would think of them. But of course, in Genesis 4, you got Tubal Cain. He's got the metal working with bronze and iron, and the lodestone is really interesting. That which is sort of the magnetic stone that exists. But okay, we didn't plan for the trains and the magnets to the magnet. That just happened. That's the kind of supernatural stuff that goes on this podcast where we don't plan things, but then they kind of work itself out. But moving on from magnets alone, Trump was trolling the masses, Basil, during the the correspondence dinner in Washington last week. Just thought I'd put it down on record. Oh, you know what? I'm not playing I'm not playing it. Hold on one second.
Yeah, I lost you.
I'm sorry. That was my mistake for the viewers out there. All right, let's play this again.
I want to save your ratings. I'm pleased to announce my intention to, and this is somewhat of a scoop, my intention to run for a 4th term as President of the United States. I will be doing that. I will be having an official. In fact, I think I have. Yeah. I won 3 times. Now I'm going to do it again.
Putting on the Trump 2028 hat.
I'm going to do it.
There you go. There he went into his announcement voice there. If you can tell, I started yelling. But he's got the Trump.
What was it? The White House Correspondents' Dinner?
Yeah, I think it's after they sort of redid it again after remember the gun guy, of course, a couple months ago.
The gun guy.
The gun guy that ran
Trump
through all the
administration. You can't just say the gun guy.
That's true. There's like 5 different gun guys.
A lot of gun guys, but yeah,
the gun guy who ran through like the metal detectors and was all caught on camera and whatnot. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we all know he's trolling, he's joking or whatever, but then there is that little piece of like, well, is he? Is there something being planned? Because it does feel very unstable right now. This is a feeling, Basil. This is not, nothing necessarily concrete, but it does feel like this country under a couple of years of Trump here, of his presidency, and we're kind of going into the last year and a half or so of the Trump era. It does feel a little shaky, like everything's not as good. He's out here saying that like it's great, we're in the golden age, we're so wealthy, and he's saying all the things that normal Republicans will say to kind of make themselves feel better or make voters feel better. But there's that little bit of like what is going to happen where a Trump 2028 is possible in like this emergency situation. Are we in a war? Is there a collapse? Is there a major disaster? Is all those things kind of go through the mind, Yeah.
It has become apparent to me, and I think it's becoming apparent to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think this is, of course, probably part of the plan. It is some very delicately and elegantly executed social engineering in both directions. Can you remember, even not that long ago, like maybe even in my 20s, I thought about America and I thought about the world, that it was pretty stable, right? I might not like it, might not, whatever. I don't know. But the system is there, and the system wants to preserve itself, and that's that. And then I started reading a book, and this book is called The End is Always Near. It's by Dan Carlin, who does a history podcast.
Very, very popular.
Yeah, very popular hardcore history podcast.
Yeah.
And I read his book, or am reading his book, The End is Always Near. And we have no reference point for how often and how unassuming and non-exciting, these massive apocalypses are, changes in civilization. They happen all the time.
Yeah.
And with America and the sacred democracy, goodness gracious, in my lifetime, if there was ever a time that something weird could happen, it's basically right now. Do you feel the same? It sounds like we're saying the same thing.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I mean, I put out a post the other day. I said, and this is along the lines of what you've been talking about on Clubhouse. I said, do you have the peace of God that surpasses all understanding? And I listed a bunch of stuff here. AGI is going to exterminate humanity. Robots are taking your job. Technocrats are controlling everything. CIA is going to destroy humanity. Islam wants to kill everyone. Iran's going to nuke us all. Zionists want to kill everyone. China is going to take over the West. Russia's going to start World War III. Dollar's going to collapse. CBDC is going to control all purchases. Climate change is going to kill us. The grid is going to collapse. Pole shift is going to destroy civilization. CERN's going to rip open space-time. The next pandemic is loading. Bioweapons are unleashed. The vaccines are going to kill everyone. Unvaccinated are going to kill everyone. 5G, 6G is going to kill everyone. Microplastics are poisoning everyone. Our food supply is poisoned. Our water's poisoned. Social media is destroying our minds. Deep fakes is destroying. It just keeps going on. And I'd list a few more things here. Alien takeover, Mark of the Beast, Armageddon's on the way. So do you have the peace of God that surpasses all understanding? You know, and it's just one of those things where it's the poly chaos. You know, it's like everything is just up in the air. And I think there are very few of us who are sitting there like, yep, nothing new. You know,
in the theme.
Yeah.
It's been the theme the Lord set forth at the beginning of this year. That I would rant about it. Yeah, you're exactly right. I remember seeing this post, and it's funny because I saw it go by, and I'm realizing I never clicked the show more button. I didn't know your list was that.
No, my list is it's a very long list.
I'm sorry. I saw the post, but I didn't dive in.
That's
but that is a very good list. People in the chat enjoy the list.
Yeah, there's more.
But yeah, no, that's the thing. And that was the weird little inkling that was given to us on Clubhouse at the beginning of the year. It's like, look, the stakes are going to keep getting higher. Things are going to get crazier. The wheel is going to keep spinning. Things are going to get hotter. It's going to get crazy. The stakes are never going to be higher. And it just is what it is. It's that wheel of history. It's God's orchestration. And if you don't have the peace of the Lord, that is the only thing that you need to be seeking right now. Because as those who have tuned into Clubhouse the past few weeks, months maybe, and seen me talking about all my loopy experiences, I'm loving getting all these messages back from people saying, oh my gosh, I'm getting that too. I'm feeling that too. This supernatural, unexplainable sort of optimism is one way. Some people would say bliss, optimism, whatever. You know, we all have different styles of life that we're trying to make it through. But when you have knowledge of all of this stuff, Gons, for almost 15 years, focusing on almost nothing but all the craziness.
Yeah.
And you get to the apex like this, and you go, oh, oh, that's the piece that surpasses all understanding.
It makes a lot of sense, right? It's almost more, it applies even more than, you know, I know it's applied to personal things and whatnot, but when you kind of do the sociology of it all, it makes a whole lot of sense. And
you don't need to go to a rave. You don't even need to go on a train.
No, you don't need a train. You don't need to take a train to a rave. Like you don't need
a train rave. You can just have it with you and God and connect that way. And that's what I hope everybody listening can turn their focus towards. Because even, you know, getting on X even now, I'm looking at, of course, we make a semi-habit of kind of perceiving the various like Christian influencers interacting with one another and fighting and
oh my gosh, the drama has gotten a little out of control. It's
just like
getting blocked by people that you respect.
They're gonna get all that sweet ad money. They're gonna get all the sweet. The system loves pushing that. They'll make a lot of money for it, but at the end, we can just go and just Next level, baby.
You know what's crazy too?
That's what we're doing. Next level.
The clarity of the message, I think this year, especially kind of honing in on that, it's been pretty interesting on both of our journeys this year, Basil. But it's interesting to watch some of our former guests and colleagues and peers get to the pinnacle of podcasting. Even we just had Tim Alberino get on Joe Rogan, and people are criticizing Tim because he never mentioned Jesus or like Christ, pointed to Christ during the show, which whatever, but also I did say that, like, hey, the Kandahar giant story, which is a very fascinating story, and I know that's Tim's thing. It doesn't really matter unless you're pointing to the Genesis 6 account, which is pointing to Jesus and like his defeat over that whole thing. The whole idea is like Jesus defeated that whole power system. That's what we're representing here. And if you're not going to talk about that, then it's sort of like glorifying the enemy a little too much, and this is not a critique on Tim, but it's
no. Well, I would say again, in the topic of the peace that surpasses all understanding, Tim going on Joe Rogan, not mentioning Christ. Okay. But think of the millions of people who, if Tim said, yeah, Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, they would have just turned off the show and not watched it.
I know. There's an argument going both ways.
But I think you're right. What you were just saying, which is, Kandahar giants. Oh well, I don't want any of that Jesus stuff, but giants are real. And what system of thought, what theology has all the answers for the Kandahar giants, et cetera, et cetera? It's Christianity. It all leads to Jesus, no matter what it is. It all goes there. So we can all stress out a little bit less, I think.
Yeah. And it's been kind of interesting to watch some of the drama and the mudslinging going on between the Christian influencer crew. I did have a couple more of these things just to kind of land a plane here. We're going pretty long today, but actually it's not that long. I guess we just started late. Okay. Yeah, the timing of today was weird. So there's a headline here from the independent.co.uk, and it goes like this: Trump saves George Washington with time travel and protects world from Iran in AI posting spree. So this is nothing new. Whoever's got a hold of Trump's and the White House social media he's been working hard. He's been prompting quite a bit, or they, I guess. It says here, President Donald Trump posted about everything from time travel to the Iran war in his latest bizarre Truth Social posting spree. In a series of posts using AI images shared on Sunday, Trump uploaded a fake movie poster showing himself saving George Washington out at Mount Rushmore. A mocked-up image of a border wall with Canada and various hints he might run again in 2028. Quote, "The past was about to change." The imagined Trump ex-Washington film's tagline reads, "History was about to be saved." And do you want to describe this image here a little bit? This is I mean, it's kind of what was described there. Trump with the cape. He's on the cliff right there in front of what is it called? Mount Rushmore. There's a time portal in the sky. George Washington hanging by.
Beautiful. It's a magnificent AI image, but it's a movie poster. The shot is from at the bottom of Mount Rushmore, and you're looking up at it. And in the sky, the electrical storm clouds are gathering, and there is a clock sort of revealing itself up there, sort of cosmically in space. You've got Mount Rushmore there with Washington and Roosevelt. I don't know who that guy in the middle is. Jefferson. Learn more about Mount Rushmore. But Trump is heroically reaching down over a cliff that George Washington has fallen down and grabbed his hand, pulling him up. Trump, Washington, a time travel epic. It's beautiful.
really leaning into the time travel thing here.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm a little kind of, I mean, we've noticed this building recently. I'm a little weirded out by the White House kind of walking on our turf a little bit here. They're kind of messing with their branding.
Well, trust me, they did a little bit of that. I'll get to. I forgot to put it in the show notes, but I think we'll share it today. So yeah, I mean, there along with this, and we won't go back to the article and read everything. There's no point. There is another picture that he posted of Trump standing next to JFK, and it's got that kind of 60s sepia tone style photography, I don't know, filter on there, so it looks like a real photo of today's Trump standing next to a young JFK, which I thought was very interesting. And there's also another one where he posted a strike on Karg, and it's military jets and stuff exploding Iranian forces. And I think there was another one where he's literally on one of these oil tankers waving an American flag, and the Iranian flag is strewn across the floor of the ship there, the battleship. So, there's a lot of AI image or meme warfare or something going on with
they're having fun with it, man. That's fine. I hope they do. I hope they keep having fun. Honestly, I'm having more fun now than I was during COVID.
Now, Basil, when it comes to some of the AI imagery, you and I have been depicted in many of these episode art pieces of either flying a UFO or flying like a canary-shaped levitation vehicle and whatnot. Yeah, and talk about the president and the White House team kind of stepping on our turf a little bit when it comes to that stuff. They did publish this video. Should we play the video? It's only 36 seconds. We'll play the video.
We can play it. It's possible that the music is
who cares? It's not gonna. No, I don't think so.
Well, because it's you're talking about the remake. The White House posted a remake of the intro to Rick and Morty.
Is it the actual Rick and Morty song?
That is the song. Yeah, that is the actual.
Okay, well, what kind of copyright are they getting away with?
I'm sure they'll fine. They're whatever. Let it roll.
Okay. All right, let's just go. Okay, can we describe what we just watched?
Yeah, well, I don't know if we need to go frame by frame, but
frame by frame, let's break it down like the old days. We used to find all the symbolism in the videos, which is it's kind of funny. I've been kind of on this kick about truthers in the 2010s were the real truthers, and then like the 2020 truthers are all sloppy. But I'll point out a couple things that I saw. Okay, I'm not going to go through everything. But he got the Diet Coke at the beginning there. So you got the MAGA hat, Diet Coke, and the seal of the President of the United States kind of floating in space. Mm-hmm. The Diet Coke spills out, and you got 1 + 1 + 1 = 3 wins. I think it's a reference to the 3 different elections there.
2020 election.
And then it goes to there's a planet. There's like this is sort of kind of a Milky Way galaxy type thing. There's a planet with a couple rings around it, like how Saturn has 1 ring, but this one's got 2 rings, and it looks like a fuzzy, like weird. I don't know. It looks like a hairball or something. It looks like a lint ball or something. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. That's Earth. So I don't know what happened to Earth, but it's a big fuzzball.
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas? Beautiful. Is this a Rick and Morty?
I mean, it's basically somebody uploaded the Rick and Morty intro to AI and said, "Hey, make this, but for Trump."
Okay.
So that is that thing you're looking at there is from the Rick and Morty intro.
Okay, so it's a fuzzball Earth. You go down into the fuzzball Earth. You see the White House. You see a UFO zooming over the White House, and some people have pointed out the Q of the shape of the windows there. And then it zooms into the side of the White House where the column is, or the pillars, where they have the past presidents, like the little portrait picture line of the presidents. And if the people watching, as you can see, when you go through this thing slow, the AI slop is so bad that everything is all distorted and it's all like skewed and it's just not very good. And I think that's the vice president. I think it's supposed to be Trump and JD Vance running, but as many people pointed out, JD Vance looks like Mamdani.
Kind of looks like Mamdani. Yeah. The only thing that makes you think, maybe it's Vance, is that his skin is not noticeably darker than Trump's.
Yeah, and he's going through these pillars.
Like Mamdani, which, look, on the theme of Rick and Morty and portals and interdimensional whatever, hey, maybe there's a connection between Vance and Mamdani. Mamdani and Trump, they obviously have some sort of deal worked out.
They do.
Obviously are playing their part in the theater of the thing. I mean, the just straight up recently, I think it was today, the Mamdani was saying, oh, Netanyahu's coming. New Yorkers, get out and arrest Netanyahu or protest.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The mayor of New York City is doing international geopolitics from the mayoral mansion, Just
then he came out and said, I have found out there's no legal way to arrest Netanyahu. And then, yeah, that whole thing was just I don't know. It feels like a big distraction, but now you got, Netanyahu saying, deconstruct the International Criminal Court, and Trump's out here saying like, we will tear down the International Criminal Court, because they're the ones that's saying Netanyahu's a war criminal and all that kind of stuff.
Of course.
It's and by the way, just to kind of point out, and this is part of the shakeup right now, I think why people feel so confused right now. There was a little period of time when political alliances were pretty clear. It's like, okay, the woke liberal folk over there, conservative, religious traditional folk over here, and hey, let's fight. But now everything's like the can is being shook. Everything's kind of getting mixed up, and people are getting confused about who their alliances are with and against and for and whatnot, because in the context of like, hey, tear down the International Criminal Court, as someone who's like anti-New World Order, it's like, oh yeah, of course you want to do that.
Yeah,
but then the reason is to, get rid of this accusation for Netanyahu of being a war criminal. So then in that context, it's like, uphold the International Criminal Court. They're calling it, so it just makes everything confusing, and the context changes everything. Back to this weird video. Trump has 6 fingers in this AI slop. So there you go. There's your Nephilim right there. Trump is a Nephilim.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he's got 3 fingers. You got Homan arresting an alien, like a real alien.
I like a real alien, not an illegal alien,
not an illegal
alien, he says.
Yeah, like a red-eyed little bat wings and very skinny,
just interdimensional alien. Yeah.
Then you got the Artemis 2 flying over the Earth, of course. And this is what caught my attention. So it goes into the where is this? The hearing where they do all the voting and stuff. What's the word I'm looking for? The congressional building. And there's a doorway to the left, and there's a green portal, much like the Rick and Morty sort of portal. And then you have the Mesopotamian bird god imagery above the doorway, and then like a guardian of the doorway, which is like, oh, interesting. Yeah, what's going on here? And then it goes to it zooms to Chuck Schumer, and then behind Chuck Schumer there are like, I don't know, 5-6 different portals, all kinds of doors and doorways and portals. And then Chuck Schumer takes off his face and he's a robot, so that's kind of the vibe going on with the video. And then it goes to the last scene here, which is this giant, you said it was a donkey. I think you're right. It's like a donkey demon.
Demon dragon.
Like the Democrat demon dragon.
Yeah.
Flying in the air. And there's JD Mamdani, Vance, and Trump in a flying vehicle running away from this.
Why are you not saying UFO?
I guess I could say UFO. I mean, it's a UFO, but it's like, okay, all right, fine. It's a UFO. It's a disc.
No, I mean, I didn't know if you were meaning to do it or not. It just sounded like you were like, like somebody was going to pay you $10,000 to watch this without saying the word UFO or something.
Oh, I would definitely accept the challenge for $10,000. No, okay, fine. They're in a UFO or like a traditional flying saucer, and the creature is shooting laser beams at him, and they're flying away there. And look at that, look at him go. And at the very end, the demon thingy kind of bites into, or tries to, I guess, bite into the UFO.
Yeah.
Is this the scene you're talking about? That's directly from the actual.
Yeah, it's a shot-for-shot remake of the Rick and Morty
intro.
Yeah, and you can see they gave the AI the original one, because the last frame you see there, it's Cthulhu in the original intro that eats them, and Cthulhu has teeth coming out all sides of his neck there,
his throat.
So the AI just kind of slipped it in there. It's discoherent, but it's there.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, that's the state of our government. You know, it is very strange for the White House to be posting this.
Government, Gons. It's the state
it is
of our reality.
Oh,
It is everything. Okay,
government is reality. Okay,
you can't even think about it as government anymore. It's just all of reality is affected.
Yeah. All right. There you go. The White House posting. Hop in. Best dimension yet.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd see the day.
Go ride a
Official
train,
grade check mark.
ride a train, hang out, experience the wonders of the rails. Everything's going to be fine. The peace that surpasses all understanding is available and accessible to you at all times. And if you just can't quite feel it, if you don't know it yet, listen to Canary Cry Clubhouse on Thursday. I will be doing that on Thursday. Here's the thing. I understand. With a news show like this, some people don't want to listen to previous ones because it's the news. It's old news that you listen
old news. Yeah, sure.
Clubhouses are pretty evergreen. Okay, so go listen to the Clubhouses. They're evergreen. They're a good start from the beginning. Give you something to listen to. Let it edify you. Get into the zone, and we'll all have some supernatural optimism together.
I would like to think that our news show is a little different in that there is an evergreen nature to every episode. It's not, of course, the context of stuff we might talk about are the stories, the happenings now and whatnot, but we always try to connect it to the bigger picture,
That would be nice if that were the case. I would like to think that as well. I have heard of people have told us that they go back and listen to the entire archive of almost 1,000 episodes.
That is
good on you. I mean, look, there's a lot of inside jokes that you're just not going to get unless you go listen to the old episodes. All right,
this is why we need a corpus. We need a corpus so people can look up certain things. They can look up lint trap and find out exactly what we're talking about.
Right. We need a wiki. We need the Canary Cry wiki. All right, everybody. That's it. Let's get out of here, Gons. Thanks for keeping the show going while I was trapped in train purgatory or whatever.
Train-again.
Yes. But we'll be back on Wednesday. It's going to be wonderful. Big old shout out to all of our financial producers. Thank you so much. Thank you to our artists. We have some producers who help us out with their time. Don't want to leave without thanking our time stampers, Gons.
Yep.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Of course, it is Jade Bouncerson doing our timestamps. She did our timestamps for the last couple episodes. Thank you. Appreciate
we
you.
need to make a statue for Jade Bouncerson.
I know. Yeah, there needs to be a banner in the arena.
I will put a statue out here on the homestead. If we can figure this out, Jade, we're gonna make a statue. I don't know if it's gonna be good, but I will put it out on the homestead, and it will be very victorious looking. Thank you, Jade Bouncerson. Thank you to Jam, who heads up Telegram channels. Thank you to Adam42, who heads up the Discord channel. If you're a Discord or a Telegram person, or if you're not connected to other Canarians, you're really missing out. You really just do it. Just try. They're around you. but meet them online first. You'll find some in your area. Go to CanaryCry.Party. You'll see invite links to the Telegram and the Discord channel. You'll also see a link to CanaryCry.Community, which is our non-big tech social media kind of experience there. It's good. Joe, thank you for the feedback. Thank you to Sir Clank for clanking all the way home. And Sir Ike, of course, keeping the engines warm and the wheels turning around here. Couldn't do it without you. Other than that, share the show, folks. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with anybody who needs just a little drop of that peace that surpasses all understanding. Yeah. Oh, we call it rattling cages.
I'm just waiting for the cue.
Walk right up to and grab by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted. I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
Every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Guns, you got any last words?
Yeah, hold on one second. Let me get this started here. Oh, hold on. Here we go. Yeah. The dog is in the mix here. Yeah, I just saw Sir Darren's post. The show is so evergreen, it turned into a portal.
Yeah.
I like that. Anything, Cody? Got anything to say?
Cody the World Eater. He's looking like a little chunky. Is he a little
chunky? What? No, he's not chunky. What? He's not chunky.
Cody the World Eater, destroyer of podcasts. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
This is the way.
We're all gonna die.
This is not about freedom or personal choice. Give me a break.
It will kill.
That's on YouTube. That's on YouTube.
It reeks of an inside job.
That's on YouTube.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.
But what if you're a grifter who needs to sell ads?
Armageddon's on the way.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
Psyops.
Dang it. I think I was psyoped.
Which come without
value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
CanaryCry.